and
Yeah.
soon they shall be boarding that plane and dropping down to their inevitable deaths at some point or the other. But of course, we are going to have to wait with bated breath as that big, beautiful bird takes to the skies. But again, it's going to be just an amazing day for Battleground mobile action because all the teams are ready. They've already got their warm ups in. You know, a few of them did have a little bit of a skirmish just a little while ago, just making sure that the thumbs and their fingers, because some of them are using five, six,
Yeah.
10 finger claws. It's just amazing how they do all this, isn't it?
Yeah, even I'm really confused. How do they pull this one off? Because I really like my full gyro, and yeah, it's four fingers for me. But yeah, these players are professionals. They're streamers. They've been doing so well. So I'm really excited. I just want to just drop inside the battlegrounds and find for myself as to who's gonna get that first chicken of the evening.
Well, I guess your wish shall be coming true soon because within a few seconds the game is going to be underway. And yes, you were talking about the fact that we do have a little bit of a mix over here because we do have professional players from different various battle royale games, and we do have content creators. And the fact that they've all come together,
Yeah,
it's just amazing. In fact, what Dynamo had said earlier in that interview, he's
great.
looking forward to seeing who's done its practice, who's been doing their homework, and who hasn't. Because, well, ladies and gentlemen, in just a couple of seconds, we are going to be live with game number 1 on day 2. It is, of course, going to be the 4th map in this series. We're going to be flying over Erangel as that big, beautiful C-130 takes to the skies, and looks like we are going to be heading up north, flying right over the Sosnovka military base.
I mean,
Wow, pretty much in the
completely
center.
dissect. Yeah, I mean, completely dissecting them up into two halves. I am really sort of anticipating an Eastern Circle on this one, to be honest. But I would rather not be surprised if we have the circle also going up towards Katka. But what I would really love to see, like I already mentioned, is a certain circle.
I think a southern circle would be pretty much what everybody wants right now, especially since the plane path is pretty much in the center, and all the drop spots are going to be equidistant from said plane path. So it's not going to be tricky for a lot of teams to get to their favorite positions. But what is going to be tricky is how they converse, or how they traverse rather, once
Yeah.
the circle is formed. But all right, so you've said it's going to be a southern circle. I'm going to go for a little bit of a southeastern shift. I think it might be somewhere around Shelter and Milter
All
this
right.
time around, as a few teams are dropping down. It looks like we might have some action breakout on the military island early on, as we do have Hydra and Team Snacks dropping down on the base. So that is going to be exciting.
I mean, I think they probably just headed towards Nova Rep Noise, so we're not going to be witnessing that early skirmish. But here we have the boys from Team Snacks. We've got Diljit. I mean, we do know, we've heard stories, we have heard legends about this guy himself. I mean, if there's someone who can go head to head against you in reality in the art of sniping, I think this is that one man.
Well, I guess he's definitely going to be head and shoulders above me because, the fact that these guys have been doing this for so long, they've been practicing day in and day out. And, well, I'm just one of those old timers who loves playing this game. But anyway, Diljit is, of course, one of the finest snipers that our country has produced. So it's going to be exciting to see what he brings to the table. But right now, we have Team Mortal on our screens, arguably one of the favorites in this tournament, with the man himself wearing his iconic hat on our
Yeah.
screens right now. But of course, this lineup is also star-studded. I mean, we've got Regal Toss, we've got Mortal, Scout, OP's coming in, as well as Marby. I mean, on paper, this team would look nigh unstoppable. But looks like we are going to have an early clash once again. And again, it's reminiscent of yesterday because it is going to be Team Mortal up against Team Clash Universe.
They love doing this, but Rekiltos is in a bit of a pickle. Does not really have the best of the loadouts to go and take a fight. But I think the same can be said for Mavi. Just that S1897 model with a stun. I think that's going to be really crucial, really important. But then again, you've got Mortal. You can spot him from far afar because the kind of an outfit that he possesses, it's got a sort of iconic in it.
That's what it's all about because I love the fact that in BGMI, you still have your characterization and you still have something that is basically all yours. So that is how we recognize Mortal. And of course, that is not going to change even if the game does. But again, Aditya over here, he is aware that they do have enemies nearby. And keeping in mind that this exact skirmish did take place yesterday as well, they are going to try and improve on their movement because we did see yesterday all the action kind of take place where Destro is right about now, but this time around It does look like a few shots have been let loose, and Marby, in fact, with that shot, he is going to get the first knock on Clash Universe, but Wexy comes in and gets the revenge on Marby, but Wexy is going to be a little smarter as he hits the deck, making sure he misses Scout OP's shots, but now this grenade, it could be devastating. Is Wexy going to be in the line of fire? Oh, he does take a little bit of damage, but it's not going to be enough.
I think this was really interesting, starting right off the bat. Team Clash Universe going up against Team Mortal. And right now, Mavi, their IGL just being finished off. That's definitely going to hurt them. But eventually, they are certainly going to recover. But, the question still remains how? And Aditya, just being spawned off, has to deal with both Scout and Mortal at the same time.
Now, what's working in Clash Universe's favor is the fact that, only two of their positions have kind of been given away. Of course, they know where Aditya is right now, but he's going to be holding down the fort, so to speak, laying down suppressive fire on Scout, OP, and Mortal, making sure that they are not going to be traversing towards him, especially from that position, because it is higher up, but Scout OP goes on the left flank just a little bit, gets a sight on Aditya, and knocks him down. And before he can get any respite, he's already going in for the finish. Nice anticipation coming in over there, making sure that he hits the deck before getting shot out. Right now, Scout OP is going to be a little bit distracted because Destro has a good angle on him.
I really loved how Scout is just, making those movements. He's prone at the right amount of time because had he been just there for even more than a second, he'd be knocked by now. But Aditya is making those small mistakes and has been punished for that as Destro all by his lonesome. I'm really curious as to see where on earth is Clash Universe right now.
Now, this is where Clash Universe and Wexy are going to have to, in fact, make some moves because Aditya is going to be bleeding on his knees just in front of our screens. Destro's position has been given away. But now this is where Wexy or Clash Universe, in fact, they need to move from their position. They need to kind of flank from the left if they want to catch Scout OP off guard because Regaltos is going to be keeping Destro at bay, which kind of gives Soul Mortal a little bit of a chance to, move up ahead as well. There you have it. Aditya is going to be dropping down, making sure he doesn't drop in the water because if he does, he is going to drown to his death, and that was a good enough distraction as Scout OP is going to get the better of Destro.
I mean, 100%. And Team Clash Universe, they're just continuing on their mistakes, sort of exposing their bodies. And, Team Mortal is very well prepared for that. And there you have Clash Universe, this time going up against the man himself, Scout, just spraying on towards him, and he barely makes it alive.
A good jump out the window to make sure that he is not going to be a coffin in the waters down below. That is a good move over here. Now, Wexy, of course, is going to hold down the fort in his position and just try and give some information out. Now, this is where Team Mortal can actually capitalize on the situation because on paper, they do have the upper hand, and there you have it. Regaltos could be the first man to make a move. In fact, kind of flank all the way around from the left. That would be a good position to, kind of get up behind them as Destro, of course, is going to be awaiting his death, which is going to be inevitable because I do not really see a revive coming in, but looks like Clash Universe is going to try and do the impossible. He is getting a bit closer to his teammate, but now Regaltos is going to be the one man standing in his way. And the fact that he wants to get a little bit of a revive as he jumps up on the building. This is a good jump over here because now Clash Universe is going to be not expecting that as Destro is finally put out of his misery, which makes it a 2v3 situation in favor for Team Mortal.
I really love the spread coming in from Team Mortal, the way they just, are kind of pincering them down and kind of closing the gaps. And
Oh,
it
yeah.
all comes down to Vexy right now. He needs to, sort of stop the flank coming in from Scout. But if Regiltos, along with Mortal, makes a move on Clash Universe, I think Team Clash, they're just basically done over here.
It does kind of seem like that, but the thing is, they are anticipating that there is someone in the original building, and the original building, of course, is the one which is occupied by Wexy. But looks like we might have a few more contenders coming in because Team Ronak is making a little bit of a display over here. They are going to be driving past, and maybe that sound cue just might be given out. And of course, you know how it is. Whenever you hear some bullets or whenever you hear some gunfire, it does attract potential predators that are going to be coming your way. But I like the fact that now Scout OP, he is going to be traversing a little bit as well, trying to make sure that he has a different angle. But now Regaltos, he does have an idea that someone is behind that building, and he's trying to make as much noise as he can, trying to distract his opponent.
It's still a launch party. This is the moment you're supposed to be having fun. You're supposed to be going right at the face over here on Clash Universe, and maybe just try to fist him out. But either ways, I think finally Team Soul has decided to make a move. Clash Universe in a whole world of trouble does have that bit of a basement play coming in for him, as Rekitos will finally just find him off guard, but it's Scout getting the knock, and they will get the finish. However, Bexy finally being compromised. I know where Team Soul is heading up next.
Well, looks like Vexy's position could be compromised, just as you said. And you did kind of mention that, this is the launch party. You want players to have fun. But, my dear friend, when it's all about gaming, you know how competitive we get.
Yeah.
And it doesn't really matter. It's all about the ego. It's all about the bragging rights on the line. And, of course, you want to be the one that says, haha, I knocked you out, and not the other way around. But now, Wexy is going to have his work cut out, as the remaining members of Team Mortal are going to try and engulf him like an amoeba and then, just snuff his life out. But you got to keep one thing in mind. They are just outside the circle, not by a lot of distance, so it isn't going to be problematic. But again,
Yeah.
all this gunfire could be attracting, like I said before, potential predators nearby.
Out of every place in Erangel, we had to witness this fight, going along in Water City. I mean, this is how personal, this has become. And Vexy, he needs to make a run for his life because Regaltos is definitely on the chase. And here we have it. I mean, you've got K18 playing along with Omega, Akshat, and PG. Gonna feel bad for these lads. I barely think that he's gonna contribute anything to the fight, and might as just well be raging at his teammates. Guys, because of you, I got knocked out. You did not give me that res back up.
Oh.
And, well, the list goes on.
So
Trust
are
me.
you suggesting there's a lot of pointing fingers in the K18 camp? Is that what you're saying?
I mean, the players are really good. Have seen their streams. They've got some amazing shots. They've got some amazing firepower. But
Uh-huh.
you as good as your weakest link, right? So
Oh.
there we go.
So I'm assuming. All right, all right. So I think if K18 does get a couple of shots in, you might have to redo your statement a little bit, because he might actually be carrying his teammates. But looks like Wexy does get the better of Scout OP back in Water City, which was kind of unexpected. I'm sure we are going to be switching to that fight right about now. The question is, can he finish what he started? Because he does have the knock, but you only get that point for those finishes. But right now, it looks like Team Cronton is going to be taking a fight up against the opposition in the form of Team Ronick, as Scout OP's life has finally been snuffed out.
I mean, I really want to see what's going on over there, but right now we've got a bit of a scuffle. Team Godlike, or rather Team Cronton, as we can call them. I think they're engaging against Shriman Legend, and the man himself has been knocked out, and Smokey is already on that flank. He's finding a different angle, and once he gets it, I think the finish is just going to be coming for us.
I will say one thing about Shriman Legend. I mean, it doesn't matter if the guy is winning or losing, the way he entertains his
Yep,
followers and his audience is just
100%.
amazing. I mean, I've never seen him getting angry. He's always been a happy go lucky guy, win or lose, which is what this game is all about. But looks like Wexy is going on a little bit of a rampage elsewhere, as now Regaltos is going to fall to his double barrel shotgun as well. And one by one, it looks like Wexy is snuffing the life out of Team Mortal, and now Mortal is going to be the last man standing. It is going to be a one-on-one situation. Or wait a second, did he just finish him? No, he did. It is going to come down to a one-on-one. It is going to be Wexy up against El Capitan himself, Soul Mortal. Now, Mortal is going to be a little low on HP. He does have that Uzi, though, so that high rate of fire could come in handy, as Wexy is going to come down the little staircase. Now it's going to be a waiting game, and of course, this is the third-person perspective. They have spotted each other out. Wexy goes back upstairs as Mortal lets loose a few shots and switches his weapon, which is good because, well, that gun loses bullets really fast. But it's that shotgun, Fixes. That shotgun is going to be a bit scary at this range.
And 100%. I mean, I'm really having mixed opinions about the Uzi right now, and this is exactly why. I mean,
Oh!
the moment you just start spraying through, you never know when your mag is already over. But once you have that shotgun, you've got that close range going in for you. Now, it was a 1v3 situation, and boy, oh boy, Vexy, does he come out up top?
Man, I've said this before, I'll say it again. Vexy, this man is just too goddamn sexy. The way he
Sexy.
got that clutch over there, one by one, wiping out Team Mortal. And again, the crowd favorites have been snuffed from this game, the first team to be knocked out. But it is what it is, a wonderful effort coming in from Vexy over there, making sure that Clash Universe is still in this game. What an amazing, amazing clutch over there. I wish we are definitely going to be seeing that in the replays, as right now, the team that you are going to be taking the mickey out of, 8-bit,
Yeah.
K18, I beg your pardon, in fact, they are preparing for a little bit of a fight up against Team 8, and looks like Sensei and Punk. Do you have an idea that someone is nearby? As, again, they are at the edge of the circle, so they're not going to have a lot of problems, but look like Sensei is going to get the better of PG, who kind of went in without any information there, mate.
I mean, right now, Sensei's already cooked up a frag grenade. Akshat has to buy some time around for his teammates to really show up. But Team Karthik, not in the best of the positions of where I'm expecting that comeback, the cavalry to really arrive. As Sensei going in for the flank has been spotted by K18. Now that was a really good shot taken by him, but Akshat just sort of opening himself up. But Monk is there with the trade.
That was a beautiful little trade-off coming over there. Of course, K18 making sure that the flank is secured, which means you're going to have to retract your statement sooner or later. But right now, Gartha going in for that revive. He's got to be careful because although Punk is currently, focusing on K18, Omega's position is going to be pivotal. He could come up from behind, in fact, from up top, and lay down some lead in their direction, which could be problematic. But now Garthak is going to come around the tree. He does get that knock on K18, and that is going to be problematic as Omega comes in from behind. Gets the finish on Sensei, now focuses on Garthak, does get the knock, but from behind, it is going to be Clown who makes sure his captain is still in this game as the revive comes in, and another team is going to bite the dust.
I mean, it's an absolute bloodbath the way these teams are taking these fights, and well, you gotta give the props to the boys from Team 8-bit, and well, Ketan, of course, I mean, he did get lucky this time, getting those two knocks. One
I
with,
think, I think that was a good cover over there, mate.
I mean, that indeed was, but then again, there was
I love
no
this.
one looking at him, so he had a free fire, and he just took those shots
Wow.
and got those finishes. Yeah, I mean, got those knocks, not even a finish.
Well, at least he did get the knock. He made sure that the flank was secure. I think that was a good play coming in, of course. A little bit late from Omega, in my opinion. Had he come in a little bit earlier, things could have gone a little different. But now, a team that we've all been talking about, Team Jonathan, on our screens. And as you quickly have a look at the circle, we are going to be just west of the prison. And it's going to be interesting because we do have a lot of open areas. But also, the thing is, we have the shelters down below. So we have a lot of compounds for cover as well. So again, the fact that you have 16 teams still alive, 56 players still raring to go. Oh, it's you talked about it being a bloodbath earlier, my dear friend. It's going to get chaotic real soon.
I mean, yeah, it's just the calm before the storm in it. And right now, Team Jonathan, they haven't really been doing a lot. And I've been seeing all these lads, they pull off some really, really crazy plays. But this time, being really serious because they've got a huge, huge target to accomplish. And Coplin, I believe, has spotted out Toxic, just trying to scope around with that 4 times on that AK. Gonna go in for those taps. Nothing really connecting though.
Surprisingly, right now we really haven't seen a lot from Team Snacks, which is kind of strange because they love getting in the action right from the beginning. But I'm sure once they do start, they are going to be nigh unstoppable. As Goblin finally does get that knock on Toxic Singh, and now Toxic Singh's teammate, his captain Banduk Baz, does go in for the revive, making sure they deploy some smoke from cover. But now this could be a good situation, a good chance, in fact, for Team Guru to kind of push up on them because Guru OP gets another knock on Somraj, which means they could be in a world of trouble and expect a little bit of a push coming in any second now.
Any particular second. But right now, what is really going wrong with maybe Team 4 King over here because they cannot really go in for the flank angles, right? They cannot get a lot of
So they're
area
getting
over here.
surrounded.
Yeah, they absolutely surrounded. The moment they try to pull something else off, I mean, they are gonna just be taken down because you've got those teams coming in from the periphery, and right now, Ferocity, she's got that DP clinched in. I mean, this is one of those exclusive weapons that you tend to find in Erangel, and boy, oh boy, I mean, talk about the stability on this one, talk about the damage. A lot of the streamers love to use this one.
You know, I love the fact how all these weapons are balanced because although you do have the stability for the DP-28, you have that amazing recoil control, but oh boy, when you want to reload this gun up, it takes a lifetime, so to speak. So I love the fact that everything's balanced out, but it looks like Ferocity is going to be a little bit ferocious as he does get a knock on Paul, and Banduk Boss is going to be blown to smithereens, courtesy of Doc. Now, as the action is going to intensify, all the teams are going to get close to one another, and well,
Absolutely.
expect a lot of mobile cover at that.
You know what, XP? I really see a lot of traffic around that eastern part of the circle, right? So many teams just right beside each other. They've got their own fortress built up over there. But eventually, it comes down to who holds the center. And this definitely is a team that is not doing the same because you've got Team IT over here and they're playing from the edges. Now, you've got to be really careful when you're going in for a strat like this because we certainly can understand for a fact that the teams have taken it really seriously. And there you go, the golf ball hitting in. And I really love how Team IND have positioned themselves. I'm really keen to see as to how are they going to get inside the circle.
Well, as for Team Snacks, I guess their first opposition is going to be Team Gothic. And the fact that Team Gothic are kind of spread a bit thin could be problematic for them, especially since we know that it is going to be an uphill battle, so to speak. And it does look like Team Ronick are in a good position as well, pretty much in the center of the new circle. And the fact that there's an airdrop right next to them is something that could come in handy. Now, it does look like Roach is getting shot at from the distance. And the fact that their vehicles are kind of busted up means they might have to make a run for it on foot, which could be problematic. But of course, if you have enough smoke grenades, you could conceal your movement. But right now, Ferocity does spot Team Ronick in the distance. A few shots have been let loose, as on the other end, it looks like Paul and the boys from IQ are going down one by one.
I mean, this is it, right? This is the moment where we see this pandemonium completely happening right in front of us. The massacre that we've been talking about, as all the teams are just kind of striving to get themselves inside the circle somehow or the other. This is the moment where we're going to see those vehicles completely blowing up. And Spray
Oh!
God, in a bit of a skirmish, in a 1v1 duel, just trying to spray in through. But now we're in a completely different fight. We've got the boys from Four Kings just pushing up on the players of Global Esports.
Team Action are going to be in a world of trouble as they're going down one by one, but right now Guru is going to be on the offensive. He does know where the enemy is. He is going up on the smoke. It is going to be against GE, but the thing is, can he get the kill? In fact, he is administering a first aid so close to the enemy that it is scary just for me as Sauron whips out his Scar Rail. The question is, does he get the finish? No, he does not. He gets knocked out instead as Doc is going to take a double grenade knock as Ferocity is going to be blown to smithereens as Guru OP is still continuing the fight against Doc and Fierce, who are bleeding on their knees as backup. Much needed backup, in fact, is going to be coming in. Spray God again. How is this man still alive? He just wiped out an entire team all by his lonesome.
I mean, I really did not know the way the pushes came on over here.
Oh,
It's all so chaotic, XP. We've got to be honest about it. Look at this, 35 players still alive. Everyone sort of playing through the edges. You've got a few teams playing through the centers. We haven't really seen a lot coming out of Team IND as well. Now, we've got some wagerings going
oh,
around,
that's a
but
good one.
this one grenade might change a lot of things over here.
A big boom in the distance, and looks like a couple of people have kind of lost a lot of HP, but right now Hydra Danger, he is in a dangerous position. They still are a three-man squad taking cover behind whatever little cover they can find. That buggy is going to be coming in handy right now as smokes are going to be deployed. Now the question is, they need to make quick work of Team Guru, otherwise they could be in a world of trouble, as now they are going to be relentlessly firing indiscriminately into that smoke, hoping that a couple of their shots connect. In fact, one shot did connect, but now grenades are going to be lobbed in from the other side as Danger could be in a very dangerous position. And now Nuclear again making sure enough smoke is deployed to conceal their movement, but they're going to have to do something quick over here. Fixes, they need to either finish off Team Guru or they need to finish off Team Gothic, who've been raining down grenades on them.
Certainly, and they do not really have a lot of time to do that. And I think this is the right moment. They've got that aerial advantage, and you might as well want to capitalize upon it as Danger is just peppering down a few bullets onto which the players of Four Kings, as we've got a few more finishes going up on our finish feed over there, as Kuruopi has managed to find the
Whoa.
better out of Danger and puts him out of his misery.
Guru OP has been playing like a different beast today. I mean, he is completely done a 360 on what it was like yesterday, and right now looks like Prince is going to be ballsy enough to be driving around right now with the car as he knocks over Dawn, as Hydra Alpha is going to administer that first aid. I mean, this man has a lot of first aid. 7 are still left. Looks like he's making the right decision to go for a little bit of a heal battle, just making sure his team gets those placement points, as he is, of course, the last man standing. And it does kind of seem like King Roach is doing the same in the distance there, Fixes.
I mean, things have started to get really interesting, XP, because look at the circle. I mean, there's no one at the epicenter of it, and that's a good decision because you've got that open area around you as Picard just tapping in with his Mini 14 just get that confirmation over there as well. Team Ronak, they're making a move, have already secured 3 finishes with just the loss of that one player.
Hey man, that one player could be coming in to be a problem later on, but let's see if that's going to be the case. But right now, King is going to be the last man standing. Roach, does he go down? He does get taken down by the play zone, in fact. And the play zone wants to be a little bit of a spoil sport as Nade Pro is taken down as well, which means now, ladies and gentlemen, we are down to the final 5 teams as Hydra Alpha is going to succumb to his injuries as well, which means it's going to be 13 players alive and only 1 is going to walk away the winners. And have a look at that team. Team Snacks, Team IND, whatever you want to call them, are still a 4-man squad. And oh my goodness, let me tell you one thing, that is going to be a force to be reckoned with, as Prince is going to try and crawl his way to a little bit of cover before he does anything to give his position away, because you do have Team Gothic. Kind of, they have the hilltop, so to speak, but the fact that, again, they are spread out a bit thin could be problematic for them. They do have enough cover over here in the form of vehicles and that solo tree. And have a look at that. Gothic making sure that they are going to position the vehicles around. I like the fact that they have this little flat tabletop mountain situation going for them. Yep. That is going to be helpful.
That certainly will be, and considering how the circle has again shifted and certainly has established that the circle does favor no one, just being equally fair to all these players. But right now you've got Snacks just spraying in with his Carvel, just droning down, has not really been able to find anything. But in the meanwhile, they've got that having secured 7 kills ready. We've got to see how interesting it gets. But right now you've got Clowny getting that 1 knock. We've got to see if he can capitalize on it and get a few more, because this is the moment, this is a cue. You need to push in and get those finishes going in your favor. Might as well secure the chicken.
A few grenades coming in. Have a look at this. The fact that Gothic is going to be right over there in front as the first line of defense means his teammates do have a lot of options coming in. Now, of course, they are going to pass themselves up. Make sure that the boosters are on 100%, because you don't want just the health. You want that little extra speed as well. And from the other end, looks like Team Snacks are going to have a little bit of a skirmish breaking out with Team Ronak, but looks like it is going to be... wait a second. One of them have gone, and Picard goes down as well, which means Ronak is now the last man standing, or rather... sliding on his stomach over here as a grenade is going to be lobbed in from Spray God. The question is it going to connect? Again, Team Ronak could be decimated right now if Team Snacks decides to make a move from the other end as well.
It's going to get me really interesting, because you've got Spray God making those movements. Does finish off Clowny, though. Now has spotted out the players of Team Ronak, and Ronak falling off. And this is Team IT defeating Team Ronak as Bunk just gets blown up by the nades coming in by the boys from IND. And
let me just say one thing.
Seem like we're going to go in for Team IND getting the win.
Have a look at that. IT, they've got 10 finishes, and out of that, 8 finishes are coming from Spray God's way. Fixes, talk about living up to this name. This man is a god when it comes to spraying down those bullets in the opponent's direction.
I mean, it's going to get... 100% agree with you, because, well, Team IT, this is certainly a team that has been getting those finishes on board for them already. 10 being the number over here, but I love the spread coming in by the boys from Team IND. I mean, some good IGLing going on out there.
I love the fact that again, they are a 4-man unit right till the very end. And I love the fact that Icy Baby is still on the line to lose a lot of money today, which is going to be making me a little bit more happy. But amazing gameplay coming in. Now, if you talk about finishes real quick, not a lot of finishes for Team Snacks as of now. But of course, the day has just started, and that number is going to be adding on, as Gothic is going to be the last man standing for his team. And in fact, he is in no man's land. That is not where you want to be, between a hard rock and rock and a hard place, I beg your pardon, as he's got IT Spray God and Prince at one end, and well, the 4 members from Team Snacks riddling their way on the other. Now, it is going to be whoever takes the first shot is going to give his position away. That we do understand. But again, I think Team Snacks, they're just playing around over here. A few shots have been fired. Spraygods gets spotted out. He takes a few hits as he finally gets taken down. And it was kind of funny seeing Gothic take a little bit
Yeah.
of damage as well.
I mean, his position is completely compromised right now. All that Team
Oh,
IND
that's it?
needs to do is just lob a few grenades at him. And finally, I think Hathak has been spotted out. And eventually, there you go. Team IND again getting the fourth on the board. How on earth are these lads doing it, XP?
I think somebody forgot to give the other teams a memo that this is like a tournament and not just a showcase because they aren't playing like a team. Snacks, they're coming, snacking on the opposition, chewing on the opposition, and spitting them out. That's what these guys are doing. 4 wins in a row, mate. 4 wins. Just let that sink in. All of you watching at home again, I know we're talking about Team IND and Team Snacks, but 4 wins is unprecedented when you are going up against the best of the best that this country has to offer. But amazing, amazing gameplay coming in once again. And I like the fact they are patient with their
Yeah.
tactics. They don't overextend. They're doing it to perfection. Just beautiful.
You know what?
Wow.
When things really started off, when they got their first chicken dinner, right? At that very moment, they sort of thought that, yeah, it's gonna be really crazy. It's gonna be fine. They've got a lot of kills going in. But eventually, when they got the second and the third, that was when they started to realize, oh damn, we are doing it. And the moment they're getting those fourth, I mean, this time, honestly, they were a bit patient, like you mentioned. They were maintaining that composure, and they knew that their time is definitely gonna come, and all they had to do is eventually get those finishes, capitalize on your opponent's weaknesses, and well, the boys are here again, having secured the fourth, and now routing in for that fifth.
But I mean, these guys are going to be the talk of the town right now. But if you quickly have a look at the replays over here, Spray God with an amazing gameplay coming in as he gets the full knock over here right now. It's 4 finishes, quickly turns to 7, and it becomes 8 before the end of this game. So a wonderful game coming in all around. And it was kind of interesting to see a lot of other teams kind of step up to the plate. Let me just take a few names. Team Gothic. Now, these boys, it did kind of look like they were almost wiped out when they were going
Yep.
up against your nemesis K18. However, they did turn things around and they did end the game with a good 7 finishes to their name. So again, I did kind of mention that we are going to see some other teams step up to the plate, which is exactly what has happened. But boy, oh boy, the main headlines again today are going to be: can anyone stop Team Snacks? And you know what? Let's do one thing. Let's bring our host back in. Let's ask Johnny a couple of questions. Let's put him on the spot. Johnny boy, can you believe what just happened? I mean, is this a joke?
I don't think this is a joke at all. I think, as you mentioned, XP, these lads are pretty serious about taking that prize money. And along with that, $100 from Icy Baby's personal pocket right
200.
there. Yeah,
You know what,
100 for
guys?
the pan fight. We're going to discuss that later.
You know what, guys?
Hmm.
I mean, this game was so interesting that we sort of forgot about the
Yeah.
clutch being pulled off by Vexy, the sexy man
Oh,
himself. I
that was
mean,
just brilliant.
Ooh.
how on earth could have Team Mortal just messed that one up? All you have to do is push in tandem, get those frags going in your favor, get those finishes, get those points. I mean, they just sort of wanted to go in for those 1v1 duels, and Vexy was right prepared for them.
But credit where credit is due because, Team Mortal, they were, like I said, they were trying to kind of, surround the opposition, Vexy in this
Yeah.
case. They were trying to get that kill, in a systematic tandem way, as you said. But again, that shotgun up close and personal is just devastating. And the fact that one by one, he snuffed out the lives. First Scout OP went down, then Regaltos went down, and then finally El Capitan Mortal himself went down. Just goes to showcase that, it doesn't matter if the odds are stacked against you, man. If you have a little bit of belief in your own skills, and, Vexy's got some skills.
Yeah.
I mean, you can do anything.
I want to ask you, XP, you have this one phrase where whenever you talk about Wexy that you used to introduce him. Would you like to say that?
Oh,
Because
just too
that
goddamn
was
sexy. That's what it is.
yeah.
Because that's what he does. Because, I mean, his gameplay is just beautiful. It is just amazing. The fact that, his brain withers and runs around so fast, the way he comes up with these different moves, it's just a beautiful thing to watch. And, well, I mean, we all have seen the gentleman himself. He ain't so bad to look at as well. Easy on the eyes.
Fixus was about to say something.
You know what? This sort of took me down the memory lane, and I had a pretty much a line for Mr. Vexy himself.
Mhm. Let's
Nobody,
hear it. Hmm.
nobody does it better than Vexy. This
I
All
mean,
right.
the way he played, I believe that line stands quite true for the lad right there.
I guess all of you watching at home are going to be kind of wondering, wait a second, are they like really big fans? We are fans of good gameplay and we are fans of anything extraordinary that is
yeah.
done. We love everyone basically, but then,
Yeah.
once you come up with these insane moves every now and then, it is going to stand down and we are going to applaud it.
Exactly. And talk about applause. I mean, again, a special applause is going to be there for Team Snacks, four chicken dinners
I
in a row.
mean,
Just two more matches to go. If they can somehow manage to clutch those out as well, get the two remaining chicken dinners, it's going to be really amazing. But oh, let's talk about this. XP, how many hearts are going to break if they miss that one chicken dinner in the end?
I mean, I don't think any hearts are really going to be broken. I'm sure Fixes can attest to this as well. They've already broken multiple records as far
Yeah.
as winning A, the number of games in a tournament, B, back-to-back games in a tournament. I mean, we've seen teams in the past in big tournaments in battle royale games,
Yeah.
winning a lot of matches and maybe getting back-to-back chicken dinners or even a treble. We have seen that in the past, but chicken dinners
Yeah.
You know,
Uh,
you
in a
know
row,
what? You know what,
back to
XP
back.
and Johnny, to be honest, now they've been starting to set standards, right?
Yeah.
You
yes.
come in inside a tournament. I mean, it's launch party, but the players have taken it really seriously and they're being very competitive about it. And there you have Team Snacks coming in, getting those four. Now the pressure is definitely surmounting. Now they are hungry for the fifth and probably the sixth.
But
We're
you know
using
what
certain
helps you?
words.
Yeah.
He's using certain words. Johnny, I need your help over here. He's using words like hunger and snacks, and he's making me snacky.
All right, all right, all right. You know what we are gonna do? XP, we're gonna give you a snack break right now. We're gonna grab some snacks. So you guys stay tuned and keep watching. We'll be right back after this. Hello, everyone. Once again, welcome back to the launch party of Battlegrounds Mobile India. This is Varun Superzoni John, joined by Fixes and the Experiment. We are having really amazing matches between the streamers that have been invited to this tournament, and 4 games are done. We just have 2 more matches to go. But talking about matches, talking about competitiveness, the discussion that we were having, the performance of Snacks before this break, let me remind you guys there's an important update about the esports scene, the esports updates that's coming out on the 15th of July. So make sure you're following Battlegrounds Mobile India on their socials so that you don't miss any news that comes out. And with that, I would like to ask these casters that we have with us, Experiment, starting off with you. What are your thoughts on the esports update that is going to be coming?
Well, I think it's already pretty clear that a lot of these teams are esports ready, especially Team Snacks. I mean, these guys are laying down the law, so
Yeah.
to speak, as to what to expect in the not so distant future. So I'm excited. And as far as the other teams go as well, I'm pretty sure everyone knows the news. If you've been following your favorite teams on social media, a lot of lineups have been announced as well. So the future looks bright for Battlegrounds Mobile India, and I'm just happy to be a part of it.
Fixes, do you think Keithan is ready to drop into the competitive landscape of things?
All right,
No.
let's listen. Let's listen to this. No, all
No,
right.
definitely not. We can just have him as a caster, right? He's an amazing one at that, and let's
Give
Phenomenal.
just
us our
keep
boy
him
back.
off 8-bit. I mean, the last thing Team 8-bit would want to have is have Keaton playing as a competitive player. I mean, you might not want to have those extra burden, and sort of tends to get really heavy though, because even in that fight we did witness against Team Karthik, they just got completely outplayed. You talk about the weapons. I really saw him just peeking around, opening up the ADS, which I would have, if it were some other professional player out there, would have just gone in for the hip fire, and that sort of has been the meta these days. You'll be witnessing a lot of SMGs and a lot of shotguns in display. But even adding up to what XP really mentioned, a lot of lineups have been
Yeah,
announced. So now we've seen India progress as a country in multiple fields, and might as well just get that esports train going along. And I'm pretty sure the future is going to be definitely very bright.
exactly. The future is looking super bright, but for now, what we're going to have a look at is a player interaction video. So I've been asking these guys questions as well, and
Okay.
questions were thrown at our players, the streamers. So let's have a look.
I'm super excited about the Battleground Mobile India launch because we have been waiting for a very long time, and now everyone along with the audience is rejuvenated.
So I'm really excited to be back again because I've been waiting for means long period of time. But finally the game has come and it's the time to be at the top once again. So मिलते हैं बहुत जल्द.
सो राइट नाउ आई एम रियली एक्साइटेड टू प्ले द गेम. काफी ज्यादा वेट कर लिया. अब बारी है कि बैटल ग्राउंड के फील्ड में उतरूं, खेलूं. काफी दिन हो गए मुझे खेले हुए, बट लाइक मैंने गेम खेला, मुझे काफी ज्यादा पसंद आया. बहुत ही अच्छे मैकेनिज्म और काफी ज्यादा मतलब फन गेम है. तो मैं बहुत ज्यादा एक्साइटेड हूँ दूसरे स्ट्रीमर्स के साथ खेलने के लिए इस इवेंट में, और बस उतरेंगे और जीतेंगे, चिकन डिनर लेंगे.
बैटल ग्राउंड्स मोबाइल इंडिया, इसके लिए कौन नहीं एक्साइटेड होगा. अभी तक ट्रेलर देखा, सारी चीजें देखी, हम तो बस अपना डिवाइस लेके बैठे हैं कि कब एकदम लाइक एकदम पूरे पूरे दिन हम दोबारा खेल पाएंगे. और मतलब जैसा हम लोगों ने देखा है ट्रेलर और वीडियोस में सारी चीजें, उसको देख के तो इतना ज्यादा एक्साइटमेंट है कि मैं बता भी नहीं सकता. बहुत ही ज्यादा.
Well, I'm pretty much excited about the game, and today we also are playing the first ever tournament for us that has been hosted for each and every influencer. So I'm pretty much hyped up, and for the future streams, and I guess our audience is also equal excited as we are. Or आने वाले time पे we know there are many casting tournaments that will be coming up for me as well. That I'll see that as an opportunity, and for sure this game might bring many good things in future for sure.
I guess I already got my dream squad. It's Scout, Mavi, Viper, Regaltos, and me myself.
So my dream squad is my current squad: me, Neo, Clutch God, Z God. Yeah, these four are my dream squad.
So my dream squad will be like Jonathan, of course, for entry fragging, and Z God क्योंकि उसकी साथ मेरी synergy बहुत अच्छी है, and Mavi for IGL. तो these three player and fourth me.
मेरा ड्रीम स्क्वाड है कि लाइक ऐसा नहीं कि कॉम्पिटिटिव एंड ऑल, मेरे को कैरी भाई हो, तन्मय हो, मैं हूं, और एक स्काउट भाई हो, उनको थोड़ा थोड़ा गुस्सा दिलाइए, मजा आता है। दोस्त है बहुत अच्छा हमारा, ये हमारा ड्रीम स्क्वाड है, होप पूरा हो जाए।
ओके, सो फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल एक आईजीएल जरूरी होता है टीम में, तो मैं सबसे पहले मावी चुनूंगा, और दूसरा तो मैं ही, और तीसरा फायर पावर, आई विल पिक जॉनथन, एंड देन फोर्थ वन आई विल पिक रेगल टॉस।
I'm super excited about the launch party because this is gonna be the first official tournament, even though it's gonna be a fun event, but then we all have that competitive nature, so we all are super excited about it.
So really excited to be at the launch party. I would like to thank each and every one of you who supported me till here, and sure I'll take you guys at the top.
रियल एक्साइटेड अबाउट द लॉन्च पार्टी क्योंकि उसमें काफी यू कैन प्ले विद योर फ्रेंड्स, जो कि लॉन्च पार्टी होने वाली है, मेरे अपोनेंट्स आने वाले हैं, और काफी मतलब हम लोग में तो चलता रहता है कि लाइक थोड़ी सी कौन खेलेगा कौन नहीं खेलेगा, बस उसके लिए मैं सबसे ज्यादा एक्साइटेड हूँ कि हम लोग एक दूसरे के साथ खेल पाएंगे, कम्पीट कर पाएंगे, और लाइक बस।
ओके, तो लॉन्च पार्टी का जैसे ही मेरे को पता चला ऐसा लॉन्च पार्टी है और सारे क्रिएटर्स आ रहे हैं, हमारे सारे दोस्त आ रहे हैं और उनके साथ खेलने को मिलेगा, ऐसा बहुत कम हो पाता है क्योंकि सब अपनी लाइफ में बिजी हैं, और ये बहुत ही ज्यादा मतलब इसमें फन होगा और सब एक साथ खेलेंगे, बहुत ही मजा आएगा। मैं क्या ही बोलूं, ये एक्सप्लेन करने वाली चीज नहीं है, फील करने वाली चीज है, बहुत मजा आएगा सबके साथ खेलने में।
लॉन्च पार्टी जो एक बहुत बढ़िया इनिशिएटिव है, जहाँ पे सारे स्ट्रीमर्स और कॉम्पिटिटिव प्लेयर इकट्ठे आके खेलेंगे, एंड एक अच्छा एग्जीबिशन टूर्नामेंट होगा, एक बड़ी गेम के लॉन्च होते हैं, सो दैट इज व्हाई इट इज कॉल्ड लॉन्च पार्टी। एंड आई होप आप जितने ऑडियंस देख रहे हो, आप लोगों को भी मजा आ रहा होगा ये विटनेस करने में, एंड हम लोगों को तो मजा आ ही रहा है खेलने में।
I feel I enjoy watching streams of Goldie Bhai and Binks and Regal Toss.
Scout, Neo, Clutch God, Z God, yeah, my teammates and Scout.
Okay, so of course first Mortal, of course the OG. Second, I'll prefer Jonathan because of his gameplay, and third I'll prefer Mavi. He's very entertaining.
Okay, top 3 streamers according to me, first obviously Carry Bhai, Gary Mirate, Gurudev, and second Mortal love always, and third Hydra Danger, हमारे दोस्त भी हैं लेकिन हम उनको फॉलो भी बहुत करते हैं, एंड उनकी स्ट्रीम्स भी बहुत देखते हैं, बहुत मजा आता है।
ओके, सो फर्स्ट वन I'll go with Mortal, बिकॉज जिस तरीके से वो अपनी ऑडियंस को एड्रेस करता है, दैट इज जस्ट अनबिलीवेबल, एंड I have to go with Snacks because I think he is one of the competitive player जो अपनी ऑडियंस के साथ भी इतना इंटरेक्शन बना के चलता है, and also he don't get along with those comments, but he just focus on his game, and after that priority towards his audience. So एक स्ट्रीमर का वही होता है कि आप गेम भी खेल रहे हो, आप ऑडियंस को भी संभाल रहे हो, so दोनों पर्सपेक्टिव फुलफिल होने चाहिए। एंड आफ्टर दैट थर्ड वन आई विल पिक गोल्डी भाई, जो कि नए स्ट्रीमर हैं, और I just love the way he handles his own audience, and he's creating that you can say positive vibes among the streamers. So I guess Mortal, Snacks, and Goldie White, these 3.
My favorite gun is definitely DP, and my favorite map is Erangel.
So all the guns are my favorite. So give me any gun. All the guns are my favorite. Map, you can say Erangel is my favorite map.
M416 Erangel.
My favorite gun is obviously AWM, and favorite map Erangel.
M416 plus 6x scope, and map I'll go with Miramar. Miramar also a good and underrated map for those competitive challenges and classic matches also. Like people hardly plays that map, but I love to play that.
I feel we are gonna win it. We are gonna give our best.
क्या लगता है guys आपको कौन सी obviously me
अब us, team God Nixon.
लेकिन मेरे तो चांसेस कम है, लेकिन मैं ज्यादा डिमोटिवेट ना हो जाऊं, इसलिए मैं ही जीतूंगा, मैं बता रहा हूँ.
Guys, I have to say something. I'm gonna switch squads. I'm gonna be supporting Antaryami now. I really like the guy after that interaction. I mean, just this is the first thing itself. What is your dream squad? And he picks the players that he wants to annoy.
That was brilliant. He looks
Yeah.
like a really happy-go-lucky guy and really lively. That is something that you obviously want in your streamers, people who are entertaining you. And again,
Yeah.
just a reminder that I love the fact that we have streamers and professional players coming along together for this amazing event. It's just beautiful.
And
Also,
even sort of further adding
yeah.
up to that, Johnny, I must say, I love the choices he made, right? You've got that full packed entertainment squad going
Oh
in for
yeah.
you. Now, once you're heading into that streaming arena, right, you need to have your audience hooked up. And yeah, I mean, just trying to annoy Scout and make him rage. I would love to pay a lot of money to just watch that particular stream.
I mean,
You are pretty good friends with him.
if you want good content, that's the best thing. All you got to do is poke Scout a little bit and just make it, and that's it. It's going to be a good payday for everyone. So, I think that's the best thing that Antaryami could have come up with, while the others were, going a bit competitive. But that was just beautiful. It's awesome that you can kind of dip into their minds and see
Yeah.
what they're thinking, and they're just like us.
Exactly. It is definitely pretty amazing. But I mean, let's look at where our new favorite team is at in terms of the standings. So let's have a look at the scoreboard that is in front of us. And hey, Team Antaryami, they are in the top 8 because we have, I'm sorry, the top 9 because we have the bottom 9 in front of us right now. And it looks like not much has changed right here.
Well, it looks like they have gone up a few positions, but a couple of things that are going to be standing out, of course, Team Jonathan, they are a little slow to the rise over here. 6 finishes to their name, which is going to be 2 more than what they were at yesterday. So they are going to be showcasing something, I'm sure, in the games to come. But of course, Fixus,
Yeah.
anything that stands out for you over here? You did kind of mention Team Jonathan a little while ago, but
Right.
K18, he seems to be moving up the ladder as well.
I mean, he certainly has, but 4 games, just 9 finishes. I really have to take second thoughts on that. But then again, you talk about Jonathan. Their team
Mhm.
hasn't definitely been in their natural element, right? We've seen the squad just pushing on towards different teams over on this stream, and I really think we do have an undisputed champion amongst
Oh, yeah.
this NP, Johnny.
I mean, we do have Team Snacks leading the charge right there with 4 chicken dinners. Let's see if they can get the 5th one in the game that is going to come up next. But another interesting point of conversation is going to be Team Mortal. They were doing really well yesterday, but after a few matches like yesterday's last game and this game today, we do see them on the 7th position. 21 finishes to their name, 31 points in total. So it looks like it's the placement points where things are lacking a little bit.
There is a little bit of a shuffle coming on, of course, as you did mention. Team Mortal is going to be slipping down the ranks to the 7th position, but Team Rollick and Team Gothic, now
Oh,
they've
yeah.
surpassed Team Cronton as well. Now, Cronton, up until, well, this game, were in the 2nd position, lagging by 40 points behind Snacks, but looks like Snacks have really increased their lead. It's going to be a 50-point lead, and they're just 3 points shy of that big ton. So again, I mean, these guys are laying down the law, as I said earlier, but as far as finishes go, if you have a look, Team Mortal, as you did mention, Johnny, they are kind of lacking behind as far as placements go, but the entertainment factor, making sure you get those
Yeah.
finishes is still there. Now, it was a little unfortunate as to what happened last game, getting wiped out by Wexy, but that is part and parcel of the game, and I love the fact that anything is possible in this Battlegrounds over here.
I mean, you're right about that. Anything is going to be possible, and they still have 2 matches to go. Maybe we can see them bump themselves up to the top 2 somehow, because the difference between this top 8 from the top 8 position to the 2nd position is not that much. So that is not going to be a challenge. But the challenge is definitely to take on Team Snacks somehow. The 50-point lead. I don't think anyone is going to be able to beat that at this point unless they get a lot, and I mean a lot of finishes in that match. But
Like a
as
server
we,
wipe or something.
yeah, definitely. That if that happens, we're gonna be pretty amazed, and I'm gonna be super happy if that happens because that is going to be the most entertaining thing we could have asked for. But Fixes, I want you to know that in the conversation that was there earlier, Ketan did mention that he's going to be returning to casting, so you don't have to worry about him joining a competitive squad.
Thank God, thank God. But even well, now that we're talking about K18, we
Yeah,
also have to sort of praise him for that one little thing that he just said. His favorite map being Miramar. I mean, we certainly have met the same minds over here, and I really feel even as a competitive player, I think Miramar has to be the best map of Battlegrounds Mobile India
yeah.
that we have because of how tactical it sort of tends to be. You've got those open areas to play around, and we are talking about Miramar. I think that's where we're headed next.
Exactly. That is
Wow.
going to be the match that is going to be coming up next. But with that in mind, I think it is my cue to leave, right? So that's what I'm going to do. You guys have to take it over and, well, make this match one.
Well, of course we will. Thank you so much once again, Johnny. It's always a little disappointing when you do leave us, but I
Yeah.
guess it's now going to be Fixus and I who are going to lead the show and basically have you guys have a good time. But now you did kind of mention Miramar, and I like the fact that yes, it is a tactical map, but it's also very versatile in your approach to it. So, I mean, you can use your DMRs, you can use your snipers, you can even get up close and personal if you are a little ballsy. It's going to be a little tricky traversing your way to your enemy, especially since you mentioned it is such an open map and you can see things for miles out. So, again, it adds to that element of something different, which is what we as gamers are always looking for, new challenges, as you said. But it is going to be Miramar, and we did kind of mention that, it is K18's favorite map. So,
Yeah.
do you think there's going to be something different over here? Are they going to be head and shoulders above the rest?
I don't think so. I don't think so because, but apart from that, we need to just cut a little bit of slack
How
on
about how
him.
about you just give him a little bit of a push, a little bit of a motivation? Maybe K18 might just win this game.
I mean, he certainly can if things really fall into place. Because now with Miramar, well, things might look a little bit tactical, but then again, if you have that central area for yourself, if you've got that high ground, I think you've won 80% of the game. But XP, I really want to get this conversation onto the fact that well, Team Snacks have really been annihilating everybody in the lobby, and for some other team just to try and topple them over, well, they've got to do two things. They have to completely go all guns blazing, and two, they have to make sure that Team Snacks falls off really quick. So I think it is a sort of an ideal situation, but considering how these lads have been playing, how these lads have been performing, I think it's a bit too far-fetched, it's a bit too late.
I think it might be a bit too late, catch up with Team Snacks because, man, these guys are, well, way up there in the stratosphere. But the thing is, you're going to be happy about this. One of our favorite teams now, especially since the last interview we saw, Team Antaryami was a team that in Miramar yesterday did give them quite a run for their money, especially till the end. They did, I do believe they finished second, and it was a really close matchup, especially with Antaryami and his teammate, setting up a little nice crossfire, getting Team Snacks off guard, which was something that was unprecedented and unexpected, which is
Yeah.
obviously something that makes the game more exciting. So my money's going to be on them again in this round because, like you did mention, it's a tactical map and you have a lot more options. I
Yeah.
guess that is what makes it a bit more versatile. So, you can do the same thing, you have the same objective, but you have different courses of action. So that is going to be something that's going to be exciting. This is where people can bring something new to the table.
Yeah, 100%. And then again, even further adding along, I must say that we've been sort of seeing a lot of early game skirmishes in
Mhm.
Miramar. A lot of teams are tending to drop off at the same location, or maybe just trying to take those early fights. Because if you talk about the last Erangel that we just did cast, we did witness all those teams sort of in close proximity to each other, but they were not really engaging up until the point the circle started shrinking in, right? You certainly do not want to leave your chances at the circle favoring you towards the very end, because that certainly did not favor any of the teams. Now you need to make sure that you take those early game skirmishes. You need to get those finish points for yourselves, because they really do matter. I mean, even if you sort of get eliminated early on, let's say at the 10th or 11th position, and go off with like 7 or 8 finishes, then you're good to go.
You are good to go because it means that you are going to get just a couple of points from placement. But again, those finish points is something that's going to gradually keep adding on. Because remember, boys and girls, one finish means 1 point. Unfortunately, Nox do not have any points, which Maybe in the future they might have half a point. We'll see.
Oh,
We'll talk about that
what
at
is
some
half a
other.
point, XP?
I don't know, man. Maybe they might add up. You knock someone down. You've done something good. You should be rewarded for it. But of course, right now we're just going to reward you on the finishes, and it's no half efforts over here. But again, coming back to what we are going to expect in the following games. Again, remember only 2 games remain in this launch party, and after that, 3 teams are going to walk away with a lot of money in their pockets. But of course, we do have a special round at the end as well, where we are going to have the coveted pan fight, where one captain from each team, of course, only the captains are going to be participating, has a chance to walk away with 20,000 rupees. And that is not an amount to scoff at. I mean, I would be happy to participate in that round as well.
I
Can
mean,
we? Is
imagine
that
XP.
possible? I
Just
mean, they might have a couple of slots empty, right?
for the casters. I mean, if they do, I would love to just chime in.
Right
But
here.
then again, imagine being paid 20,000 bucks for winning, throwing pans at people, just hitting them with pans. I've never really thought of doing that and
That's the
earning
dream, man.
money. Yeah, that is the dream. And then make sure you get some new skins out of it because we're having some dope stuff over there. But right now, if you talk about how things have really gone so far, we've been talking about Team Snacks a lot, but somewhere down the line, they've been overshadowed. We've sort of teams like Karthik have been overshadowed as to how dominating, in fact, Team Snacks have been. I really loved what they put on the table, and the same goes with Team Ronak as well. But in those last few circle fights, I really loved the kind of a map control that Team IND had established for themselves. They were absolutely everywhere, and Team Ronak did not have a lot of space to move around, and Ghatak himself was just hiding beside a Bucky. He did not have a lot of choice, went in for the position points. But eventually, Team IND turned as the victors. But with every single passing game, right, they are building up that streak. They are setting records over here. I mean, you talk about the first launch party tournament itself, and we are already witnessing history being created.
I mean, talk about setting the bar high. These guys have set it up maybe a bit too high because, whatever tournament follows this, I mean, you got to have that same level of performance coming in from these teams. And as far as Team Snacks go, well, they are going to have a lot more pressure on them in future to perform consistently. But judging by what we've seen so far, it is not going to be difficult at all. And you were talking about Team Gothic and Team Ronic. We did see glimpses of brilliance from these teams.
Yeah.
In the last few circles, but of course there was so much going on because bullets were flying all over the places and bodies were dropping left, right, and center that it kind of got lost in translation. But again, I mean, the fact that they did held their ground, they held it well to a certain point, and then of course they got overpowered from all sides. Just goes to show that they are ready to take fights on different fronts. It's just a little bit more coordination and communication, which is what's going to win them the games later on, which is something that it does look like Team Snacks is doing right, because like you said,
Yeah.
they had good map control, and that's only possible if you are communicating well enough with your teammates and you have that little coordination going for yourselves as well.
I mean, they've been streaming and they've
Oh
been
yeah.
playing together for quite some while. So
Yeah.
you've got that synergy already being built up. But before we head into the Miramar arena over there, into the battlegrounds, I certainly want to see that rivalry spark up again. Clash Universe going up
Oh,
against Team Mortal. Now,
oh,
we did
it's gonna
witness
happen.
that clutch from Vexy. I really want to see something else this time around. Maybe Team Mortal taking a bit of an edge.
Well, you're not going to have to wait any further because in 3, 2, 1, map number 5 is going to be underway. It is going to be the deserts of Miramar, as we are going to be high up above the ground in this beautiful plain, looking down as everything looks tiny, and it kind of looks like we are going to be heading east from the west point of view. We are going to be a little bit up north this time, as we are going to be flying directly over Trailer Park, and looks like Hacienda del Patron, the house of the boss, is going to be directly underneath the flight path as well. The question is, however, is someone going to be calling it home?
I certainly think Team Jonathan is going to be going for it because, like you, they love their vehicles, right? You get that exclusive Golden Murado. But what I'm really excited about is to see where the circle really pans out. So, sort of anticipating a kind of a default centralish circle. But, I really want to see if Team IND head on towards Los Leones, or are they having some other plans in mind? Because a lot of teams have realized that sort of the soft targets there are the ones that have got that bounty on their head. So what do you think, XP? Are we going to witness some early skirmishes between Team IND and a certain other team?
Well, we're gonna have to wait and find out because it does look a bit chock-a-block right now. I'm really trying to make sure that I get it right as to where each and every team is going. But yeah, depending on you use words like targeting. I don't expect that happening right off the bat, at the beginning, because you want to make sure you have a good amount of loot on you and a good kit, a good arsenal at your disposal as well. But there you have it. We do have a circle that is formed. It's not going to be a central shift as you had anticipated. It is going to be a little bit towards the southeastern side of the map with La Bendita and Minas Generalis pretty much in the center of all the action to come. And something interesting is that, right off the bat, right at the beginning, a team did drop off. Team Guru, in fact, they have a little bit of a split going on if you have a look at the left of your screens. And, well, the ruins are going to be under their control, but looks like we might have some action break out a bit early between Team Dynamo and I do believe Team 21 in the distance over there. So, again, you were talking about early skirmishes. I think your wish just might be granted, my dear friend.
I really want to see what Paradox really puts on the table, as a few shots have been fired. So, yes, presence made felt. But then again, you talk about these two teams. You've got Dynamo coming back. Paradox is an amazing IGL. So, we've not really seen these players play under his call out. So, it's going to be rather more interesting as to how they respond. And we do know he's a fantastic player, but Team IND not really having a good start. Might need some driving lessons from you, though.
I think Kratos definitely needs to hit driving school because there was only one obstacle and he did hit it, but it looks like action is going to break out as Iconic is going to get the first knock and finish of the game as he has taken down a Dawn. Now the question is the rest of the Mafia going to come in and do him some harm because they do have that one finish, but now they have pretty much awoken like a sleeping dragon over there, and some retaliation should be coming in sooner or later. But now we did have Team Mortal on our screens, and looked like they're all by them lonesome, and Clash Universe was nowhere to be seen.
I mean, right now I'm sort of disappointed because I really wanted the fight to sort of emerge between Mortal and Clash Universe out there. You've got that sparkling rivalry out there, and it's been since quite some time, right? And it will eventually happen, but what we do see is even Team Coddle are getting a piece of the action, and Smokey getting a beautiful knock over there. I would love to see where the fight has eventually erupted.
Well, we are going to see some fights break out sooner or later, especially towards the later half of this game when everyone is going to be pretty much in each other's faces. And there you have it. Your prayers have been answered because Smokey gets another knock in record reaction time as Tiger gets taken down, as Smokey was almost knocked for a 6 as well. Now Raid from the side. He does lob a grenade. That could be good if it's time to perfection because it does look like Shreeman could be in the line of fire. Yes, he is. And Raid gets in cover in the nick of time.
And Gronton actually committing it to the bush, but Espa was just going in with that Ptarmigan, managing to finish off that entire squad. It's over. It's over within 10 seconds. That is exactly how much time it took by the boys from Team Godel to make sure they kind of just wipe out Shriman's existence over there. I really have to give props to Smokey, finding that opening knock and then Riot just following up with a beautiful grenade.
Now, that's what teamwork is all about because, you got to basically rely on your teammates as well. As soon as a knock came in, as soon as that second knock came in, Raid was the first to push in, and that grenade, of course, knocking Shreeman off his feet was something that is going to be putting them on the back foot as well. But again, lovely communication coming in, and it was one of those blink and you miss it moments because, if you blinked, you probably just missed that squad wipe coming in from S-Power at the end over there. But again, a valiant effort by the boys from Team Shreeman. But unfortunately, they are going to be bidding us adieu in Miramar. And, well, the action did break out early as we wanted it to.
It really felt as if the boys from Coddle were sort of playing since ages together because the kind of a synergy, the call outs were absolutely bang on perfect by the lads. Now, you've got Team Ronak as well. I mean, we've been talking about them being overshadowed by the prowess, by the domination being displayed by the boys from Team IND. But either ways, I mean, this is again one of those competitive rosters that does have a very, very bright future for them up ahead. But in the meanwhile, Team Jonathan engaging up against Team Godlike, and Cronton having taken these shots. Do you feel, XP, that he might just regret doing that?
Well, I mean, if you know anything about Jonathan, that guy's accuracy is impeccable. I mean, he can probably, shoot down a couple of flying birds in the distance over here, but looks like Clutch God is going to come under fire, and this is the action that we did want. We do want to see Team Jonathan, lay down the aggression a little bit thicker as Clutch God is getting ready with the grenade. He is going to cook it. It is thrown. That could be devastating for S-Power. It is, as he gets blown to smithereens, and with that, his life is going to be snuffed out, which means Team Cronton are going to be one man short. Now, Clutch God's got to be careful. He goes around Raid and knocks him down. My question is, where was the sound sense in that case?
Exactly. I really felt that as if he was scared for his dear life, because when the boys from Team Jonathan make that push onto it, you start sweating, your nerves start trembling, and that is exactly what happened with Riot. And I think his brain took a lot of time to process the fact that the boys from Team Jonathan have really made that push on towards him. And looks like it, XP. I think my thoughts were kind of correct, because Cronton having given out that sound cue to sort of signaling Team Jonathan to come at him, and boy oh boy, some intense damage being dealt upon them, and they've been reduced to a two-man squad.
Yes, sir. Reduced to a two-man squad, and the fact that they are separated by quite some distance, and the fact that Team Jonathan is pretty much dead smack center of both of them could be problematic, as, they really can't make a lot of moves unless, again, we did just talk about the synchronization moments ago. Unless they pull out something out of the bag, some little miracle, and they do something in tandem at the same time, I don't see them really doing a lot of damage to Team Jonathan over there. Unless, of course, Team Jonathan, they're not really, up for the fight, and they get a bit on the defensive. That is where mistakes can be made. However, looks like right now they are going to be putting their attention, or rather focusing on Cronton, as he is going to have 3 members from Team Jonathan push up on his position. But it looks like he is safe for now. But again, they really don't have a lot of options right now unless they do something in tandem. But if Smokey gets a knock over here on Clutch God, that might just open up a few options.
I think the only way that Team Godlike can really make a
he's getting
comeback
ready.
in this particular fight is if they find Team Jonathan with their hands down. Now, these are wild hyenas, right? They just kind of scour the land, search for anyone around, and if they find someone, they certainly do take him down. Now, this is a perfect opportunity for Smokey to maybe try and pull something off, but rather he decides to kind of let them pass by. But I believe Clutchcott has heard the sound.
It could be also. I think it looks like that Jonathan is just trying to throw them off the scent, so to speak, as it looks like Cronton is going to be the first one to let a few shots loose. But looks like you were right. Smokey's position has been compromised. The question is, can he hold it down? Can he hold down the fort, as Neo is going to have a little bit of an overhand angle on him as well. Now, Smokey does come out and lets loose a few shots, but it's not going to be enough, as Jonathan Scar Realm is going to do just a little bit more damage, as Z-God is going to snuff his life out with that M16, which now means Cronton, the captain of his team, is the last man standing, and this kind of gives him the opportunity to, run away to fight another day.
This is where Team Jonathan, they are starting to play at the natural element, right? We know how aggressive these lads can be. They come right up your face, and if you caught sort of off guard, they are going to be making sure that you pay the price. But in the meanwhile, we do see the map sort of taking that southeastern shift again, and somewhere down the line, I believe the circle is going to end towards those hills that we have on towards the eastern side of Los Leones.
That is going to be a possibility, of course, as you do have a look at the circle. I mean, in Miramar, I love the fact that we have all these nooks and crannies and ridges to play with, but I don't know, man. There's something about there's something about Los Leones itself that I just love witnessing fights over there, especially since, you have so many levels. You have so many buildings under construction that, the angles that you can come up with are just phenomenal. You can be shot at from a position you least expected to be shot at from. So, that's something that is definitely exciting, as Ghosty is out on a little bit of an expedition. He is off-roading it, but his choice of vehicle is kind of making my stomach hurt, because that is going to be one bumpy ride.
Indeed. I mean, there you go. How do you get out of these situations? These boys need to learn the fact that, you can't really drive those muscle vehicles you can't really take them for a spin on these off-roads, and, well, they've been stuck. But in the meanwhile, Well, we've got the boys from Clash Universe. I think might wanting to have a piece or maybe have a dig at Team K18.
Talking about muscle cars, I guess a few other players should be paying attention as well because they just bought a few in real life and they do not want to scratch them up. Do not do this. Keep them on the paved roads, boys and girls, and everything is going to be tickety boo. But we did kind of seem like K18 was going to go up against Clash Universe. But I like the fact that again you did kind of mention, half the battle is basically getting that high ground. So they kind of won the battle right now because they do have that little advantage. But the thing is, no one is around them. So again, it's going to be a waiting game for them as we do have about, I'd say about 45 to maybe 50 seconds before the next circle is going to form. So we did have that early skirmish fixes, but it looks like things are quieting down. But just as I say that, correct me if I'm wrong, did I just hear shots in the distance?
We did, we did. Even getting back to the point of Team 8-bit really having that high ground. Yeah, you have a good vision, you've got that high altitude, you are going to be spotting a lot of squads out. And if you're taking shots and if you sort of tend to get complacent about, another team around you, and that's where you pay the price because they're sort of in a plateau kind of a position where, they are sort of focused on that one direction. And from some other area, some other team just sort of tends to push on towards them. But with the way things are being panned out, we are sort of expecting that eastern Los Leones area. And really talking about that particular city over there, right, XP? One thing definitely does come up in my mind. That is not typical Miramar. You've got a lot of houses to play around with. You've got use a lot of utilities, a lot of
Oh.
grenades, and maybe I would love to see some stun grenades also in action. But we have the boys from Antayami. I really loved how this car really presented himself and his thoughts. But now they've got to deal with Team Karthik.
And let me just say one thing. Props to Team Gothic. Have a look at how they're positioned. They are split in two man, but right now Banduk Ball is taking the fight up against the enemy, as looks like Team Dynamo are going to be pushing in. He's got to heal himself up really quick, and that first aid, is it going to be on time? It is not! Oh my goodness, a little boost just helped him out. And as a result of that, Banduk Ball is still in this game, but his teammate is going to be knocked out, in fact, finished by Hydra Dynamo. And looks like Team Dynamo are on a warpath over there, as they've already snuffed out the lives of 3 members from Team Banduk Bars, with Rishabh laying on the hurt on Banduk Bars. I mean, that looks a little dicey. I don't think he's going to make it. There you have it.
There you go. I mean, Team Hydro Dynamo really not really having a lot of trouble because you've got Paradox coming in, and now if you got to talk about how Hydra needs to make that rotation inside the zone, I mean, it's sort of going to be a little bit tricky because they do not really have a lot of meds. They need to collect on those utilities. And Miramar is sort of the last map where you want to take things a bit too long, right? You got to make sure you've got that center because if you do not take it, someone else definitely will.
Someone else definitely will, and they're lucky that they have their vehicles on hand right now because those drives can be long and cumbersome at times. But it looks like action is breaking out elsewhere. As I was keeping an eye on the kill feed, Team Mortal were picking a fight, as were Clash Universe. And the question is, who are they shooting at, and will we see some more bodies drop? Because it looks like Delta PG does have his sights trained on the enemy over there, but that distance is going to be a bit too much for him to make a difference right now, as all the teams are going to be coming closer to one another, as Clowny is going to be spotted out, and unfortunately he is going to be taken down from the distance. And looks like Team K18 are putting on a little bit of pressure on the opposition.
And not just that, even further adding along, even Mortal's sort of being taken down, and even Punk getting knocked out in the far fray. That's going to make things so very difficult for Team Karthik. But in the meanwhile, Omega does spot out someone. Again, he's taking a few shots at him, and his vehicle has sort of managed to blow off, and someone having got to pay that hefty price goes down. Now, XP, this is where, that high ground advantage sort of becomes so very much instrumental for what Team 8-bit have been trying to establish, and the boys are having a really great time.
Absolutely. And it is kind of surprising to see that even at this late stage, you know that Los Leones is going to be occupied by a couple of teams here and there. You can't just drive through willy-nilly and expect, everything to be tickety-boo, because Sangwon did come in, but then as soon as he started getting shot at, he did kind of divert to the left. But again, lo and behold, another team was lying in wait for him. So, you've got to be a bit careful, especially at this stage now, as you are traversing into the new circle. But of course, there is a little bit of a stalemate going on, as K18 this time, Fixus, has decided to get his hands on a car 98. What are your thoughts then?
Well, I really did have a conversation with him earlier, and he said that he wanted to get his hands on that bolt action. But you know what? He's just gonna shoot at flying birds, and he's gonna miss those shots. And
Come on.
I think I'm at this position where I'm ready to even wager that he might barely even find a knock with it.
All right, K18, this is the challenge for you, mate. We've got somebody has to shot Fixes up. If you get one knock, that is going to be a victory in my case with that coveted bolt action sniper rifle, as Spray Guard does have his sights set on Sensei.
Yeah.
Now does all that training come in, because Sensei, in fact, is taking a fight with the opposition, as Pro from Team Antriami is going down. But now Spray God, he is being careful. He wants to make sure Sensei comes to a complete spot before he lets those bullets loose.
Right now, we're sort of seeing a lot of these teams, just closing up on each other. Everyone finding their respective compounds to sort of try and let the circle sort of play things around. Because now, what we had anticipated earlier was an Eastern shift, but this time we're going to be having that urban warfare mode going on for ourselves. So now things are going to get really interesting. Now, this is where, I really feel that bolt action do flourish, for the fact that someone's really trying to take that peek through the window. Where you're gonna have your crosshair pinned down and just blow that head off.
That's the thing. It's all about those angles. It's going to be where you least expect it from. If you think that one of your sides is covered, you got to think again, because there's so many windows. As right now, Team Jonathan does look like they are going to be taking the fight up against Team Dynamo. But again, this is one of those moments in the game that everyone is so close to one another that it's just going to be chaotic, because you do hear a lot of shots being fired. You are going to see a few people being knocked down left and right. But the thing is, most of the team's fixes are already going to be kind of cemented in or fortified, so to speak. So at this stage, it's more of a situation, more of a case of depleting their utilities and making sure they use those first aid kits, because, the lower the health, the better your chances of wiping the opposition out.
But, right in front of us, we've got Team Jonathan again. Now, we do know for a fact that they've got a rather very good start, right? Now, all they need to do is just pile up on those kills. But what I'm really intrigued and excited about to see is where exactly the boys from Team IND are. Now, they've been having quite a good streak going on, but ClutchCon, having his position just being exposed, did take a few shots, but will somehow get into safe cover in the right nick of time.
Talking about Team Snacks, I'm pretty sure they are going to be at the edge of the zone. I think they're towards the southeastern side of our map as of right now. But again, they're playing small. Oh, wait a second. We have some bold action, but it isn't K18 who took someone's head off. It's Hydra Danger who blows his face off with that M24 shot at some distance. But again, we were talking about that fact that, all these teams are cemented in. They are fortified in position. So it is just going to be a case of depleting their utilities right now. And of course, a couple of grenades being lobbed here and there could help things down. Now, have a look at this. Team IT, they are pretty much in the thick and the center of all the action around them, but they don't really have a lot of options to move around. I do also see Team Gothic in the distance, and mind you, Sensei is still in one of those better positions right up there. He's got a bird's eye view on all the action happening around him. So, he can be relaying that information, but now Fixes, the circle has taken a little bit of a shift to the west, which means a couple of these teams are going to have to leg it.
Yeah, they certainly have to, and I'm really intrigued to see if they're actually going in for those vehicles, or are they going to travel by foot. But at some point of time, you got to feel bad for Karthik, right? He's sort of alone there, but we've got a fight going on, and looks like it. The boys from Team Sangwon are in a whole world of trouble, XP.
They are in a world of trouble. In fact, there are two squads that are going to be shooting him down at them from either side. So it means Doc's work is going to be cut out. Ooh, that grenade almost wiping his life out. But he is lucky to be still alive, as Jonathan, with a massive grenade, gets not one, not two, but three knocks, as Team Hydra look like they could be in a world of trouble.
right now you just have to get that res back onto where it's iconic, and well, Team Sangwon would want to sort of kind of get their breath back together. But look at the splash of colors on the minimap. I mean, now Team Snacks have gotten themselves a piece of the pie, getting those knocks, but Atlanki and Kratos have already been knocked out, and now things are getting very, very dicey for them.
Things are getting dicey indeed, as Diljit is going to make sure he suppresses fire on the enemy as the revive is going to come in. Of course, you didn't mention how Thunky's life was lost earlier, but I like the fact that Team Dynamo, man, they are in the thick and thin of all the action, right in the center of teams just advancing from all sides, and they are holding their ground. That is something that was a little unexpected, but boy, oh boy, man, can these guys pack quite a punch, because they're not just taking on Team Jonathan at one end, but they're also taking on multiple teams at the other. Again, this is going to be an urban fight. I love it, and I like that Sensei is still up there and no one has taken him out yet.
I mean, he still hasn't been spotted, hasn't really been targeted over there. But, you know, talking about this particular circle, XP, I must really tell to all our viewers, it's going to be a really daunting task for the boys from IND to kind of try and make it inside the circle and then again win the chicken dinner, because they're sort of on the edges. They've got a lot of teams around them in every possible directions, just apart from the south. So it's going to be really interesting as to how are they going to make those movements, considering they've lost quite some players out there.
That is correct indeed, as Wrath from Team Dynamo is going to be taken down by Ferocity. But I love the fact that Team Dynamo, they have quite a number of finishes to their name. Still a 4-man squad, as is Team Jonathan. Again, a complete U-turn from what we saw from this team yesterday, making sure they hold the angles. And only I've got to remind you one thing. I do believe IT Spray God does have an idea where Sensei is, but of course, you don't want to give your position away at this moment. Have a look at that. The circle is going to be engulfing in on itself even more, as people are going to be coming in with some vehicles, and Ghosty could be taken out over here, but he gets behind cover in the nick of time. The question is, are his teammates going to have the same fate? Almost, as one of them is going to be taken down by PG, as Omega is going to switch his weapons to a grenade. He might lob it, but the question is it going to be a bit too late, as they are going to slink away from damage. The car takes a lot of damage, but it looks like the boys from IE are still alive as well. Just as I say that, Akshat is going to snuff their life out.
Exactly. I mean, right now, the kind of push that did come in from the boys of
Have a
IE,
look at this.
well, that was sort of a last-ditch effort, right? They just tried, but eventually were taken down. But in the meanwhile, we've got the boys from Team Jonathan having already racked up 5 kills, and they certainly are hungry for even more. Considering the position that they have gotten for themselves, this is a game where they can certainly get a chicken if they play the cards right.
That is absolutely correct, and as we just say that, another team is going to bite the dust. This time it's going to be Team Ronick, who are going to be exiting this game early on, and now it's just going to be chaotic, as a lot of bullets are going to be flying all over the place. But the question is, who is going to be taken down first, as everybody wants to get a little bit of real estate over here in these last few circles in Miramar. But it does look like Sensei is in a good position, finally laying down some lead from his bird's eye point of view, and hopefully trying to get a few connects over there. But K18 and his team, fixes are looking good. All they need to do is make sure they survive the onslaught, which is inevitably coming towards their way.
And even, you know, start praying that the circle really favors them towards the very end. But considering how things are looking right now, with the splash of colors completely breaking out, you know, squads falling down one after the other, it's going to be so tough to get that chicken right now. But now, XP, we've got to bring this up. Are we going to expect a healing battle towards the very end?
You know, I think that is definitely a possibility, especially since one of the teammates needs to be given all the first aids, because you have so much cover to work with that, you know, a heal battle definitely makes sense. But right now, before that comes in, we are going to have some grenades lobbed over, as Fierce is going to get Hydra Dynamo off his feet and onto his knees, which means Team Hydra could be in a little bit of trouble, as Fierce is going to be lobbing a couple of grenades, but unknown to him, there was no one in that room. Elsewhere, Clash Universe is going to go down to a big bang, courtesy of Cronton.
I mean, I really love the positioning coming in from Sensei. He's got so much information feeded up onto him. But we've got Fierce with that beautiful grenade. Doesn't connect though. Gonna see, but hasn't really done so. But Paradox going in for a looping spree and has to certainly pay the price as well. There you got it. Team Someone having racked up 6 kills for themselves.
And mind you, Team Sangwon were looking like in a world of trouble just moments ago, but they've managed to turn things around for themselves. That is going to be exceptional. And as Ditya from Team Clash Universe is going to go down as well, which means now, ladies and gentlemen, we are down to the final 9 teams. 23 people still alive. And OR Rexy again still alive. The last man standing for his team amidst all this chaos. And he is not done. This man does not know when to stop as he gets a knock on PG.
He certainly knows how to pick the pace up, doesn't he?
Oh,
But
KAT
right now,
with the car
KAT
98?
yeah, he's got it. I'm telling you, he's not going to connect
I
even
want
a
one
single
knock.
shot. I mean, not even a body. Trust me on that.
I think
I've
he
seen
will.
him play. I'm ready for a wager, XP.
Alrighty, we are going to have a little bit of wager over here whether K18 is going to get that knock or not. He does switch to the M4. You need to switch to the Car 98, my dear friend, as he does have an idea that the enemy is going to be nearby. But again, K18, my dear friend, they are in a good position, Fixes. All they have to do is make sure they hold down the ground.
They do certainly need to hold down on their forts, but he certainly does have a beautiful knock secured onto his God Nixon, but has to be really careful, needs to change his position up because those nades are definitely gonna come flying in.
He was lucky over that. That grenade just exploded outside his window. Had it made it inside, it would have been devastating as Akshat has spotted out Spray God, and he's going to force him out with that Molotov, and a few shots could be it for the opposition, but he is still alive on his feet as Omega is going to get a few knocks off his own as Aladdin is going to go down. His Genie not helping him out at this time as K18 is going to make sure he snuffs out his life, but K18 in turn is going to be blown to bits as IT Prince is going to come in and seal that finish. It's just a give and take right now, Fixes.
Yeah, I mean, trade-offs are happening absolutely everywhere, but look at Jonathan. He knows exactly what he's up to and has sort of smelt ferocity with that beautiful grenade just connecting off, and they've already racked up 9 kills for themselves. Now, I certainly have to call it off because they do have a chance at winning this one, but then again, you really can't rule out Team IND, but look at God Nixon just trying to spray around with the Uzi. He does manage to secure the knock, and this has to be huge. Clutching on towards one of the players of Team 8-Bit. Now things have started getting really interesting because we've got team that are remaining. The number is 5 and the players alive, the count is 10.
That is just amazing. And let me tell you one thing, God Nixon almost losing out on that little skirmish, making sure he got the job and making sure his team is still in contention as well. Looks like Team K18 are going to be reduced to a one-man squad in the form of Akshat. Now, Akshat has his work cut out for him. He is at the edge of the circle. His position is kind of given away. However, they aren't really aware that he's on the first floor. Oh, good job on him to go prone because God Nixon could have spotted him out. Now, this is going to be a little bit problematic because God Nixon, if he is only going to be focused on Akshat, it could be possible that Neo could potentially shoot him in the back. And I love the fact, well, that is not going to happen as Akshat's going to be burning, as he is going to be burned to a crisp. And with that, his game comes to an end as Aladdin is going to snuff his life out, which means now we are down to the final 4 teams as Gothic is going to come under fire and looks like he could be in a world of trouble as well.
He certainly can be, but look at Team Godnix, and they are playing out of their minds. Prince finding that beautiful knock onto it. Jonathan now has to go pushing in. Well, God Nixon providing that anchor fire from the back lines. Now, they are certainly making that push. Now, well, we've got to see if actually Team Jonathan can fend this push off. But considering the fact that you've still got Sensei watching everything around, it's going to get so much more interesting from over here.
Looks like Team IND Snacks could be in trouble, but there you have it, a last-second effort coming in to get that knock. It's not going to be enough as Aladdin was taken down, but with that, we are not going to see back-to-back 5 chicken dinners because Team Snacks, for the first time in this tournament, ladies and gentlemen, have been wiped out. Let me just repeat that. For the first time in 5 games, they have been wiped out. Now, Aladdin is going to find himself at the receiving end of things as well, as he goes boom, which means now Team Jonathan is going to go up against Team God Nixon. It is going to be a 2v2 situation, if I am not wrong. And this is it. This is amazing. We were talking about Team Jonathan, and boy, oh boy, with 12 finishes to their names already, these guys are coming out to make a statement.
They certainly are. Now just trying to reposition themselves, find a better altitude, and Jonathan has done exactly that. You need the right amount of players. They do have the numbers. Jonathan and Neo just kind of charging in. Prince really losing out on his HP. He's still trying to put up a fight, but eventually it was Team Jonathan getting that beautiful chicken dinner, and it seems like the streak has been broken, and well, who's done it? That's Team Jonathan.
Well, there you have it. If anybody was wondering where they were, well, there you have it. Here's Johnny. These guys are finally back, and well, they did it in style, an amazing number of kills. And it is going to be unfortunate that Team Snacks, again, their lovely, phenomenal run has come to an end. But I think they're going to be happy with 4 back-to-back chicken dinners. But now,
Yeah.
the spotlight is going to be on the young bloods, and well, Team Jonathan, we were expecting this from them for the past couple of games, and they finally showcased what they're made of. And boy, was it awesome.
It certainly was, and to
Wow.
make things even better, I loved how the circle really panned out towards the very end. That urban fight
Love it.
going out, and everyone just trying to hunt down the other squad, and it was sort of really chaotic towards the very end because you're trying to eliminate a certain squad, and then you find yourselves under heavy fire. So, well, Team Jonathan, the way this started off, I really felt that this is the game that they're looking to go big. They are hungry. The boys haven't had a chicken dinner since quite some time, and yes, the boys are back online now.
If you quickly have a look at the replays, now that was a beautiful push coming in from Team Cronton early on, and then of course Team Jonathan, man, these guys just laying down the lead. Have a look at this. Clutch God engulfs, goes around Raid and knocks him down before he even knew what hit him. That was just beautiful as we have a look at them again, just teaming up on the remaining members of Team Cronton, snuffing their lives out one by one.
But you've got to give props to Team 8-Bit over here, Team Keithan, especially the way they
Wait,
were
did
sort
I,
of.
did I just hear you say that? Did you just say you got to give props to Team K18? Did you say that?
Yeah, I mean, I said Team K18, not Keithan himself, because all he did was just die off right from the very start of that fight. We did point out on this factor, right? He got an intense knock over there, that was beautiful. But that is the point where you need to sort of start repositioning yourself, because those nades were anticipated, and he had to sort of face the brunt of it, and was taken down eventually. But then again, I really loved how God Nixon put himself in the
Oh,
thick and thins of all those
awesome.
fights. And I mean, of course, we do know he's a content creator. He's not a professional player, but I really felt it was sort of the professional player coming out from him, the spirits being awakened, and he just went all out. And that was a really valid effort that he put up.
That was very well said, Fixes. That was very well said. In fact, we did kind of expect God Nixon to not get the better of Omega in that last skirmish, but again,
That
they
was
did get the better of them. And how about, wait a second, something is missing from this equation right now. There's
yeah.
you, there's me. Always a pleasure having you. But let's bring in our host with the most. It is going to be Super John, who is looking a bit disappointed. What's up, Johnny? What's up with the pout on your face?
I wanted so badly for the for the 5th chicken dinner to
Oh, I
come
just forgot
for
about that. Oh, no.
Team
Oh,
Snacks right
oh,
there. Yeah.
No, we
damn.
just lost $200.
Oh yeah.
And I
How
sort
did
of
you guys forget about this, by the way?
I guess there is going to be one man out there who is going to be really happy that Team Snacks did not win.
well,
I mean, this is gonna be icy baby right now.
Oh well, that's
Just
pretty much
celebration.
that is pretty much it. That's a proper rendering of what's going to happen at his side.
Again, now
Yeah.
I have another question for you. So we were talking about Team Jonathan before this game as well. This game's performance, it was so good, like exactly what we expected.
Before fix this, you obviously have a few points that I know that you want to talk about. Let me just say one thing. They look like they were in a dicey situation, not once but twice, and it's
Yeah.
kind of like a miracle. It's miraculous, really, how they emerged from that and then went on to win the entirety of this game. Just amazing. Just break Team Jonathan down for us because, well, this guy was talking about them quite a bit.
If you talk about Team Jonathan, right, we know these four lads, they're streamers as well as, they've been having that bit of a competitive experience. And we know they sort of thrive under these sort of situations, where there's pandemonium everywhere around them. They know where they have to choose.
it.
They know how to
I
pick their
love it.
fights. They know which are the fights that they need to avoid. Now, even in those last few moments, we did see that sign of brilliance coming out from Johnny himself. He did take that higher ground and made sure he had those vision on those two players and knew just taking the flank, they went all in. And that has sort of been their, sort of a game style that they really opt for. And well, they succeeded at that because even if you sort of compare it with the game that we did see in Iran, there was sort of a bit, kind of thinking whether or not they really need to commit. That sort of reluctancy was sort of being a hindering factor for them in getting the win, and they certainly have done it today.
And so after this game, we definitely need a breather because I mean there was good performances and then there have been heartbreaks. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this very short break.
चलो एक बार फिर दोस्ती के ड्रीम्स सजाएं, फिर से क्रेजी स्क्वाड्स और कुछ नई टीम्स बनाएं। बैटल ग्राउंड्स मोबाइल इंडिया इसका नेम है। आफ्टर ऑल ये इंडिया का गेम है। बैटल ग्राउंड्स मोबाइल इंडिया, इंडिया का बैटल ग्राउंड्स। डाउनलोड नाउ।
Welcome back after the break, ladies and gentlemen, to Battlegrounds Mobile India launch party. This is Water Super Johnny John, joined by Fixus and the Experiment. And yes, we are definitely going to lift the roof of this place because, well, that it looks like that's what's happening in the games right now. And talking about the games, let's once again give a recap to our audience as to what has happened up until now. Experiment, you want to take it over?
Yes, sir. Well, it looks like the phenomenal run by Team Snacks has finally come to an end as they were snuffed out towards the latter half of this game, especially at the last couple of circles, in fact. And that's over. That dream run is over, but they still have back-to-back 4 chicken dinners, and they still are at the tippity top of the leaderboards. But again, Team Jonathan coming in with a bang, raking out quite a few finishes, and letting people know that you should not forget this name anytime soon.
Exactly. It has been an incredible matchup for them, and they still have one more map to go. But before that, let's have a look at conversation between Varun Thakur and Jonathan. Here we
Ooh.
go.
All right, so now I have with me somebody who's represented India internationally. It's none other than Jonathan. Jonathan, मेरे भाई, welcome. कैसा है?
कैसे हो मेरे भाई? बढ़िया बढ़िया, आप कैसे हो?
मस्त, एकदम फर्स्ट क्लास. बहुत बढ़िया दिख रहा है ब्रो. तेरी हेयर स्टाइल मस्त लग रही है.
अरे अभी फुल वो पहले से शेल किया था, अभी पहले लंबे दिन अभी
ये सब लॉन्च पार्टी की तैयारी हो रही है क्या?
ऑब्वियसली पता है कौन जीता.
तो मुझे बता कितना एक्साइटेड है तू लॉन्च पार्टी के लिए?
बहुत, मतलब बोल ही नहीं सकता, इतना एक्साइटेड हूँ. लिटरली इतना वेट किया था, बट फाइनली अभी सब वो निकलने वाला है ना, बोलते हैं ना, जो जितना भी आपने रखा है सब वो अभी निकलने वाला. वही फटने वाला. उसके
सुपर्ब यार. मुझे बता क्या एक्सपेक्टेशन है तुम्हारे लॉन्च पार्टी से? तुम्हें क्या लगता है क्या होने वाला है?
जो होने वाला है अच्छा ही होने वाला, तो ऑब्वियस है. सो देखते हैं, लेट्स होप फॉर द बेस्ट एंड फ्लो के साथ आगे चलते रहते.
सुपर्ब यार. तो जॉनथन, तुम्हारा जो स्लैंग है टपाटप, इसका मुझे ओरिजिन बताओ. ये कैसे आया, कब हुआ?
तो ऐसा था कि मैं सोशल मीडिया पे देखता था, ये कुछ चल रहा था, ये मतलब स्लैंग टपाटप. तो मैंने ऐसे ही जब मैं किसी को नॉक करता था या स्क्वाड वाइप कर देता, तो ऐसा बोलता है टपाटप बोलते, तो वहां से ही शुरू हुआ.
सुपर्ब यार. तो अब मुझे बता, तुम्हारे जो नया अपडेट आया उसमें तुम्हारे सबसे फेवरेट चीज क्या रही है? जब तुम बीजीएमआई खेल रहे थे तो तुम्हारी फेवरेट चीज क्या रही है नए अपडेट में?
तो नई अभी जो अपडेट आया है उसमें लाइक बहुत सारे आई गेस नए चीजें आए हैं. लाइक टीडीएम में वो आई गेस नया मैप आया है, एंड वो भी खेला, मुझे बहुत पसंद आया वो मैप. फ्लावर्स वो लिटरली फिनिशेस, वो फ्लावर्स लिटरली बहुत पसंद आया मुझे.
सुपर्ब यार. अच्छा मुझे एक बात बताओ, ये जो नई मैप आई है कराकिन की, उसके बारे में बताओ. तुम्हें कैसा लगा खेल के?
वो भी मतलब छोटा मैप है, एंड वो फास्ट पेस मैप है. लाइक जो भी होता है सब फास्ट होता है. सो वो अच्छे अपना गन स्किल्स इंप्रूव करने के लिए भी वो बहुत अच्छा मैप है.
तो अभी जो अपडेट्स है उसमें तुम्हारी फेवरेट फायर पावर की डिवाइसेस कौन सी है, तुम्हारी फेवरेट गन्स कौन सी है, तुम्हारी फेवरेट व्हीकल्स कौन सी है, उसके बारे में कुछ बताओ.
सो ऐसा कुछ है नहीं प्रॉपर कौन सी भी गन तो मेरे को सबका बूम बाप. तो यही चीज
सबका बूम
सबका डाउन.
सही
कौन
है
सी भी
यार.
गन दो
अभी सबको
देखो.
टपाटप मार देंगे.
यस ब्रो.
अच्छा मुझे बात बताओ, अभी तुम्हारे जो फैंस है जो इतना एक्साइटेड होंगे तुम्हें देखने के लिए, इतने टाइम बाद सब लोग इकट्ठे आके खेलने वाले, बीजीएमआई लॉन्च हो रहा है, तुम्हें अपने फैंस के लिए कुछ बोलना है, कुछ दो शब्द.
फैंस को तो पता ही है कि अभी मतलब इतना देर मैंने वेट किया हो लिटरली जिस गेम का था, बट फाइनली अभी आ चुका है वो गेम, एंड उसमें वापस से टॉप पर आने के लिए मैं कुछ भी करूंगा. लाइक ग्राइंड तो होगी एंड लोगों को भी पता है, तो लेट्स
करोगे.
होप फॉर द बेस्ट. यस.
तो ये तो रही फैंस की बात, लेकिन अभी जो तुम्हारे कंपेटिटर्स है जिसके साथ तुम खेलने वाले हो,
हाँ हाँ.
उनको क्या बोलना चाहते हो.
तो कम अपने सब लोग लाइक जितने भी प्लेयर्स है सब ऑन स्ट्रीम मतलब ये इन गेम राइवल्स होते हैं, एंड ऑफ गेम मतलब लाइक सब भाई है, तो या ऐसा कुछ है ही नहीं.
चलो अच्छा है यार. नाइस वन ब्रदर. वेरी वेरी एक्साइटेड टू सी यू एट द बीजीएमआई लॉन्च पार्टी. बेस्ट ऑफ लक. मजा आने वाला है.
थैंक यू सो मच. थैंक यू.
And there it is, ladies and gentlemen, one of the favorite content creators, Jonathan, right there, who says how excited he is. And I like the fact that he mentioned like the fast paced maps are his favorite because we know he
Yeah.
likes a lot of aggression inside of the match.
All
Oh,
right.
yeah.
So, I mean, XP and Johnny, are we looking at another back-to-back chicken from Jonathan? Because, from what he was really trying to imply during his interview, they've been sort of dormant, like a volcano. They're just waiting to erupt, and maybe we're gonna see those lavas around us.
We could see a massive eruption because they've already kind of exploded onto the screen. If you kind
Yeah.
of think about it, they did a wonderful job in the last one. And to answer your question, Johnny, you might actually just see a back-to-back if they continue that same momentum forward. But again, I don't know about that. Team Snacks, they might just want to get that fifth chicken dinner as well.
I mean, they're going to try their level best. But let's have a look at the scoreboard for now and see what the storyboard is looking like. How far is Team Jonathan going to be? Well, they're still on the 16th position.
Well, they are going to be on the 16th position, but they are going to be coming up a little bit slower and steady. I think we are going to have. This is, of course, just for day 2, mind you. So, I mean, a couple of teams are going to be like, wait a second, how come their kills haven't been added up? I think we might have a little bit of an addition coming in sooner or later, but it does look like Team K18 are going to be climbing up. And Fixes, they just might be on the first half of the table. What are your thoughts on that, mate?
The only regret I really have from the past match
No.
was I did not actually wager because I would have made some money tonight.
You
But
could have.
yeah, I certainly would have. But I think we're gonna see a new revamped standings because I believe after getting the chicken and getting so many finishes, I'm pretty sure they're gonna be up top over there. But then again, you talk about Team IND. Well, they did had they didn't really put up a show towards the very end, but we are talking about teams trying to chase them, right? But with again Mirabar being one of those maps where Team IND were again looking solid, I really feel that it's too late for anyone to sort
Oh,
of
yeah.
take the kind of title away from them from winning the launch party event.
I think, like you said, Johnny, earlier on, that they are definitely going to be the undisputed champions of the very first Battlegrounds Mobile India tournament. Of course, it is the launch party. It is a little bit more
yeah.
fun-filled, but they're definitely the undisputed champions over here. And, well, Team Gothic, God Nixon, and Team Ronick, they're really stepping on the gas as well, making sure that they overtake Team Cronton. But boy, oh boy, I mean, Team Cronton, 30 kills, 30 finishes to their names is still something that you can't really scoff at.
And that is a wonderful performance coming out from these players. But as you mentioned, I mean, Team Snacks, they are leading the charge right there, 111 points, and Team Ghatak closing the distance with just 19 kills, 58 points. That means they have been consistent throughout the matches that they have played, getting in a lot of placement points, finishing late every single game. And look at the 8th position. Team Jonathan is right there, 20 finishes, one winner chicken dinner, 35 points in total. So this performance does give them a really big boost, and they needed this, but they have one more match to go. Let's see how high they can go.
If you actually quickly think about it, if you have a look at second position, even up until ninth position, Team Mortal now, Team Mortal are going to be on 31 points. That means they're 17 points behind the team above them,
Yeah.
I believe, right? So the thing is, one good game could change things around because remember, we do have the podium finishers that are going to be walking away with prize money in this tournament. It's a 1, 2, and 3. And of course, the pan fight that comes later, but that is not going to be for everyone. So a couple of these teams, they still have a chance to kind of catapult themselves above a few teams like Team Gothic, Team God Nixon, in fact, as well, and just walk away with that second prize money. So again, I love the fact that it all comes down to the last game. Now, you did kind of mention Team Snacks, way above everyone else. All right, let's just. You guys win. Alrighty, you guys get the first prize. Congratulations. Well done. But now it's still split open for the second and third position.
Yeah. I mean, the second and third, it's quite close, but this game is going to be the deciding one. So there's going to be a lot of well, do we say pressure? Do you think these lads are going to be under pressure fix?
I certainly do not think so because at the end of the day, we're all here to have some fun and witness some good games of
Yeah.
Battlegrounds Mobile India. Of course, it's sort of a launch event. We're having a gala time, and it's been a pleasure. But then again, talking about things like Sandhawk per se, because that's the map that's upcoming. And well, we've seen Team Jonathan really, preferring such maps, and we do know he's capable of pulling some impeccable clutches around that area. So again, we've got to give props to Team Khatak. They've been
Oh
surviving
yeah.
for so long, and they've been getting those points. Sort of side a bit unlucky in terms of their man numbers towards the very end, but Sensei did really put up a very valiant effort in trying to secure those very important position points. But then again, sort of dragging the conversation back along to its Team Mortal, they have not really been having a fun time because well, they've been trying, but things haven't really been going their way. So this clearly shows how hungry the other streamers are, the other
Oh yeah.
content creators are. Now you're such a big name, you were sort of an icon, and well, it's kind of even if I were there, or well, if you sort of stake him down, if you knock, then you're 100% going in for the kill, and
Yeah.
sort of been under the radar, and hasn't really been a fun time for them. But the last game might just change everything.
Well, I would like to
You get a knock on, say, Team Mortal, or you wipe out, say, Team Jonathan. I'm pretty sure your grandkids are going to hear about that, right?
Exactly. I mean, I would be famous overnight, 100%.
Oh
And
yeah.
but then again, we're talking about even the other content creators. Now, we've been talking about that competitive spirit that these players have been having instilled amongst them. And they've really been performing. You talk about Team Gothic, you talk about Team
Oh yeah.
Ronak, even God Nixon. We haven't really
Beautiful.
seen him in the competitive arena, but what he really did against the players of 8-bit, that was phenomenal. That was nasty, and I think it's time to head into the rainforest, XP.
Yes, sir. In about 2 seconds, we are going to be underway with the final match in this Battlegrounds Mobile India launch party tournament, as we are going to be flying over the beautiful tropical island of Sandhawk. And in just a few seconds, all your favorite players, all your favorite professional players and content creators are going to be jumping down. And well, the aim of the game is to basically be the last man standing. And if you have a look at the flight path, we are going to be cutting the map pretty much in half this time, flying from the northwest to the southeast trajectory. And again, boot camp. Do you think boot camp is going to be left empty once again, Fixes?
I mean, once again, was it left empty yesterday,
Yes!
XP?
Yes, it was left empty. Nobody went for boot camp at the beginning. In
hurts.
fact, we thought Team Mortal were going to be dropping down there, but they just flew right past it.
I mean, certainly you've got the likes of Mavi and Scout who tend to get really competitive, with whatever they're playing, and that's a really good thing. Obviously, you would want to win it all, but then again, if it coming back to a map like Sandhawk, it highly depends upon where the circle really forms, because you've got such a small map, and we did witness in Los Leones when things were starting to end towards that end zones. We had so many teams still alive. I mean, around 35 players even after 25 minutes. I mean, that's insane. But in Sanhok, you really need to take those fights, but you need to be very careful that you do not exceed that 2 minutes marker, because if you sort of tend to prolong little bit even further, I'm certainly sure that there's one team that's going to be hunting you down, maybe even two or even more.
Well, it is Sanhok, so you can expect pretty much, everyone who is in your vicinity is going to try and hunt you down. And now, historically speaking, we know that the blue zone kind of works a little slower in Sanhok, and the damage that it deals isn't as cumbersome as in other maps. So, I mean, people can kind of use that to their advantage because we've seen one thing, right? Fixes that in this map, nobody really uses vehicles that much because it's a clear giveaway of your position. So, you want to be nice and sneaky as you are creeping and crawling your way through those long bushes. But it looks like everyone is pretty comfortable. Something that is kind of unprecedented again in Sanhok because it being one of the smaller maps out there, you want to see that action right from the get-go.
I mean, of course, we as viewers would love to, but then again, a lot of teams are going to be feeling the heat right now because leaving snacks apart, right? That particular team
Oh.
and down under, it's all a bloodbath for trying to get those intense points for them. But right now, we are witnessing some action elsewhere because we've got Team Ketan getting on board, and it's Team Jonathan that they've picked their targets.
Well, it looks like one of your favorite streamers' team is going up against Team Jonathan, and they've actually got the advantage over here as Zegod looks like he has lost his life. He was knocked down and then taken out in an instant, as it looks like K18 is trying to go on a little bit of a right flank with that QBZ in his hands, trying to secure a few more knocks for his team. But again, that's the only action that we have kind of witnessed so far, which is kind of strange because we want to see something more. And it does look like finally, boot camp is going to be occupied, and this time it's going to be Team Classified YT that are going to be calling it their home.
Yeah, but then again, boot camp is one of those areas that where you do not really want to be lurking around towards those final zones because we've seen those hardships going towards the east side. But then again, we did witness, Team K10 getting up on board with that one finish over there. But eventually, if that, if the spectators could have, stuck onto him, I would have really pointed out on how wrong he was in his positioning.
You have
he
to
was
give the
way too
lad
much
a
in the
break.
open.
You
I'm
have to
not
give
gonna
the
do
boy
that.
a break. I mean, I get it. Just a little reminder out there again, just for all of you who are, kind of wondering what's happening over here. Kathan and Fixes are like the best friends. So, I mean, there's a little bit of a banter that goes on back and forth. So, we love pulling each other's legs. Just in case, just putting it out there before, you get a couple of DMs, Fixes, kind of
How
threatening
dare
you
you.
because I love the fact that that's the beauty about the fans in this country as well. We are very loyal fans, and we love our team whether they win or they lose. And again, if you say something against our boy, we are coming for you. So, just a little reminder, it's just a friendly little banter going on over there between two good friends. And, well, I think there was nothing wrong with K18's position. I think he was perfect, mate.
I mean, he's just trying to be,
Brownie points!
Then again, I mean, yeah, I sort of have to keep myself off from being very critical about him. But then again, every single small point I get, I'm gonna do that because the way he gets off with his memes, and even the audience sort of chiming along with him. And I've been famous for all those wrong reasons. And well, I certainly have a different name for myself. People have forgotten that I'm even known by the name of Fixes. So yeah,
Wait, so Fixes? I thought you were Fixes. What do they call you?
I'm not gonna say that on stream. No, I'm gonna pretend that never happened. But every time I even think of that, it sort of haunts me.
Well, this is where the lovely audience can actually help me out. If you know what I'm talking about, let me know what his name was because I would like to have a little spam in the chat. But right now, as we witness the action once again, there has been a little bit of a lull in the action as far as Sanhok is concerned. And ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. For the very first time in this tournament, we have the BFG, the big bad gun itself, the AWM, the Arctic Warfare Magnum, dropping down. But the question is anyone going to go and pick up this beauty of a gun and use it? It doesn't look like it. Oh!
Ooh, a bit of a skirmish. Vexy already being taken down. Now that's going to be a big blow. Now Team Clash Universe needs to do everything that they can to keep his star player alive. But look at Team Cyrus. I mean, they've decided to make the push, and Team Dynamo, did they get something more? Because Aditya, he's sort of like that holding anchor for his team. He's trying to fend off this push, but XP, I'm really scared. Can he succeed at that?
Well, it does look like Vexy might just be picked up because his teammate is near him. But I do believe this is Team Alpha. Of course, a lot of Hydra players in this tournament split up between two teams right now. for the kill. Looks like Danger is going to get the better of Destro. In fact, Destro is going to be finished off as we speak, but right now they are going to have a little bit of an upper hand, as again, we did kind of mention Wexy, the star player, is back up on his feet, but the question is, can he do something? As he does see a couple of people running around to the left, but Danger is going to be a bit quicker on that trigger, taking him down in a flurry.
I mean, way too much mistakes being committed by Vexy. He was way too much out in the open and had to face the brunt of it as the push might just come in anytime soon. Clash Universe making that flag, just pre-firing and does get that knock. But then again, Team OR, they need to get those res back up as Team Alpha to respond in fashion.
That was a little bit of a mishap over there, switching the weapon on Danger Spot, and right now again another mishap. The grenade has been lobbed in, but he did get knocked out instead. Now Alpha's going to have his work cut out. It is going to be a one-on-one situation. It's going to be Hydra Alpha up against Thithia. Who's going to come out on top? It is going to be Alpha as he snuffs the life of his opponent, and now he can finally get those revives coming in. So despite having lost one member, it looks like Team Alpha is going to be on a bit of a high as they wipe out Clash Universe. And again, Clash Universe fixes living up to the name, clashing early on.
I mean, it all came down to that very first knock, right? It sort of gave them that moment of opportunity to just make the push because it's the final game. And like we said, we're here to witness teams having fun. That being said, we sort of forgot to put up this fact that, yes, this is the last game. A lot of teams do understand for a fact that they cannot really have that prize pool going into their pockets. So might as well just go Auric, just completely go guns blazing, try and go for those quick finishes as we see the circle sort of towards those Paradise Resort.
It is going to be exciting, and in fact, Paradise Resort, I don't know if people know this, is probably one of my favorite spots in any map in this beautiful game of Battlegrounds Mobile India. I don't know, there's something about it. There's something that, you can really make a lot of angles in that particular location. You can jump up on the walls, you can get on the roofs, you can be really unexpected over there, but it looks like Songwon is going to be taking the fight up against Team Cronton as the captain himself has been taken down, brought to his knees. It is at quite a distance as Songwon is going to go on the left flank. Now Smokey is going to be the first opposition, the first obstacle that he has to overcome. In fact, Smokey just might come around that wall or that block over there and knock him down on his knees, and he does, just as Songwon was about to get behind cover.
Exactly. I mean, right now, considering how things have panned out, of course, Cronton is going to get that res back up. But Sangwan, we need to have that revive on towards him as the smoke parts have been made over here. And, well, he was way too out in the open, don't you think? Because you're making a push blindly is sort of synonymous with this map. A lot of people can resonate with that fact. But S-Power with those beautiful set of grenades. But it's going to be Cronton who eventually gets the finish.
And have a look at Ride's position. He is currently circling around the opponents. He's going to get up behind them, and that flank could be devastating for Team Songwon over here as the captain has been taken down. It's going to be Face, Iconic, and Dark basically laying down the lead over here, laying down the law, making sure they can survive because it looks like Team Cronton are a bit hungry. They have kind of deployed those smoke grenades, but have a look at that. Raid was in a wonderful position. He might actually leave a few bullets loose from his weapon. They do connect with Iconic, but a good decision on Team Songwon's part to kind of back off because, they knew that this uphill battle was lost, especially since Songwon was taken out. They're going to retreat back to a little bit of a fortification. They do have those rocks over here, and, they're going to fight again as Iconic is going to spot Raid, but he takes a little bit more damage than he intended to.
I really love the kind of a map area that Gottel have really chosen for themselves. Having choosing that higher ground, they've got that vision. They've sort of tried to retreat from that fight because they know they've got that one finish, they've got that 1 point. Might as well face up against each other in maybe another circle. But right now, all they're trying to do is maybe try to apply that extra bit of pressure because you cannot really tend to prolong the fight, right? We might sound like broken records, and we do know once you start, engaging and taking the fight even for further times, you're going to be in a whole world of trouble. But eventually, Rishabh was taken down by Team Ronak, and we do have one more squad wipe around here.
I think it's going to be Team Dynamo that have been taken out from this game early on. As, again, Team Ronak, you did kind of mention that, this is a hard-hitting squad as well. And, well, they are living up to that with 4 finishes to their name. And if you quickly have a look at the circle, I love the fact that the boot camp is still in contention. I love the fact that Paradise Resort is still going to be in place. So this could be exciting as the circles are going to be shifting slowly and steadily in due time. But the question is, where are they going to go? Now, if you quickly have a look at all the teams everyone, barring a couple of teams, are going to be in the circle as Team Antaryami is going to be coming in from the northeast, from the top right of your screens. And looks like the big boys, Team IND or Team Snacks, whatever you want to call them, might just be lying in wait. So again, a few skirmishes are going to be breaking out sooner than later, but for the most part, everyone is in a comfortable position so far.
Yeah, I mean, I really think that we're not going to be witnessing a lot of skirmishes up until the next two circles, right? That's where things start getting nasty because of how the circle shrinks. But now a lot of teams have a lot of room to play around with, so they're going to stick to that. Not going to be taking a lot of risks because, if you talk about pressures mounting, right? It's Team God Nixon, it's Team Karthik, it's Team Ronak that have been sort of very close to each other in
You
terms
know,
of the point standing.
May I just interject for one quick second? Just looking at God Nixon jumping up on these roofs kind of gives me that feeling I'm watching a tips and tricks video over here. How to get the best position in a house. It kind of felt like that, jumping from rooftop to rooftop, which again, it does come in handy. I mean, you kind of think about it that, tips and tricks, the videos that these boys come out with, it's not going to be, useful in a competitive scenario. But that is absolutely wrong because again, it's that unexpected that usually wins out in a game such as this. Because again, we do kind of say that these boys have been playing such kind of games for quite a long time. So, you kind of have an idea as to what to expect. So again, you want to be out of the ordinary if you want to be extraordinary. So I think that is something awesome. And on our screens right now, Team K18, still a four-man squad with that one finish to their names. They've been looking stronger and stronger as the games have been going on.
From what I can really figure out, Battleground Mobiles India has been all about movement. And, these
Oh, yeah.
tips and tricks certainly can give you that extra bit of an edge in those fights. You never know. It might just help you out. And you might be like, okay, I cannot maybe use this particular bug or glitch. But if it's something really legit that you can actually use to get a competitive advantage, in those tournaments, then you might as well go up for that. But right now, as things are, we've got Maxton's team sort of being a bit silent today. What do you think XP went really wrong with them?
Well, it looks like Pav Killer over there is just trying to get some attention over here by opening and closing that door. And looks like the big AWM has been picked up. That is something that I'm happy about. It doesn't matter if you don't have a scope. Just use the iron sights. It's doable on that weapon. And just go in and get a few headshots. But again, the circle is going to be shifting in about 30 seconds from now. The question is, where are we going to go to? Because if we have a drastic shift either west or east, it could be problematic for quite a few of these teams. If it's a northern or a southern shift, I don't really see a lot of problems because, it's going to be easy for teams to traverse by judging by how they are laid out right now. But I think I would want to see some drama, and I want the circle to shift a bit to the west with that Western Island coming in play as well. I wish that happens, Fixers. Come on, make it happen. Make it happen. Do it.
I mean, you certainly say this
Do it.
at or
Do
saying
it.
that statement. But right now, considering, I really love how Team Jonathan have been playing from the edges, quite contrary to how we're supposed to approach Sandhawk. But you did talk about the curveball starting to hit in, and that's where you go. The zone going towards the northeastern side.
That is going to be exciting. It is going to be Paradise Resort. That is going to be my second choice, of course. And, talking about Team Jonathan, yeah, I mean, they are a team that I've said in the past, they thrive in chaos, right? They need to be in the thick and thin of all the action, and they just need to make sure each and every one of their members has, their attention diverted to a single front. I mean, they can take battles on multiple fronts, right? But the thing is, you've said this in the past as well. Sandhawk has that RNG factor, which just comes in and just throws all your gameplays out the window. So you don't want to be in the thick and thin of all the action in a map like this, where you really don't have an idea where people might be lurking. Because man, there's a lot of hiding spots in this map, isn't it?
Yeah, a lot of hiding spots, and even adding a log, you need to have that essential cover for yourself. And if you have got a high ground, I mean, those are a few principles, and the most important being the center of the circle. Because if you really want to win, you need to hold it. I mean, the current meta sort of dictates you have got the center, you've got a compound, which is kind of very rare to see in Sandhawk. But if you do have it, then you've already sort of won 60 to 70% of the game. Then it comes down to your decision making skills. But heavy have Team Soul engaging a fight against Team Maxton.
Alrighty, finally some action breaking out as it looks like Team Mortal are going to be pushing up on Team Maxon over here. Ghosty does have one angle as Scout OP is going to be the first man in the line of fire, but Mavi is the one who gets taken down by Dawn, and the Dawn is using a weapon like a gangster. It is going to be that Tommy gun that sprays down the bullets now. Power Killer is going to come on the right flank as Ghosty takes down Soul Mortal. This is devastating for Team Mortal as they are getting snuffed out one by one, and that's it. That is all she wrote. Regaltos did manage to get a knock on Ghosty, but it's going to be Dawn who comes in again with that gangster gun of his, knocking them off their feet. And with that fixes Team Mortal. We were kind of expecting them to win this skirmish, but looks like they have been put out of the misery as now it looks like Team Maxton's woes are still not over as Team Snacks are laying down some lead in their direction.
I mean, they really cannot be happy about the fact that they just wiped out a squad, and squad Mortal at that, as they really need to recover themselves. They need to get their players back up online. But my oh my, I was really wondering as to what was the thought process behind that push. You do not know where the other players are, just ramming in your vehicle, and they did meet their makers over there. And I really loved how Team Maxton controlled that entire fight. But we do see my bestie getting down on his knees.
Well, let's see if your bestie's teammates can pick him up, because it looks like Gothic is not going to be getting back up, as Fierce is going to make sure he puts him 6 feet under as Team Cronton. Now, they do have that little high ground, as we did kind of mention, you know, that is pretty much half the battle already won. But the thing is, you've got to be accurate on your shots, as Punk from distance is going to get a knockoff on Pakar. Instead, he gets taken down by Ronick. Now, this fight is going to be taking place elsewhere, because we're going to focus on a potential fight breaking out in front of our screens right now. It is going to be Team Cronton going up against not just one, but 2 teams in the distance. And there you have it, your besties team in the distance over there, up against godlike Cronton and the boys.
I mean, right now, Ketan is going to have a really tough time trying to get downhill, because he's way too much in the open, and the boys from Godlike are way too precise with their aim. And if he does not really kind of traverse around through the covers, through those stones and the rocks, then he's basically done for. But right now, if you take a look at how the teams are performing, well, a lot of teams have to get inside the zone, and we still have 15 teams alive, XP.
That is just amazing, because I was expecting a lot fewer teams to survive up until this point. But you got to keep one thing in mind: a lot of these teams are only survived by 1 or 2 members as well. So, you know, it's going to be interesting to see if those numbers are going to come in play later on, which we've seen in the past. You know, if you have more numbers towards the end, it is definitely going to be an advantage, as it looks like Team Jonathan are going to be opening up as Mr. Cyber Squad is brought down to his knees. Now, again, we are still in and around Paradise Resort as far as the final circles go, so Team IND are going to be comfortable. And what's this? We have a vehicle in use, which is quite uncommon, as Pro gets out of harm's way from Arthunki's M4.
I mean, I love the buggy in Sanhok. I mean, it gives you that mobility, but at the same time, you really need to be careful with it. I mean, if you're too exposed, if someone sort of blows off your tires, you're basically stuck. But it seems like Ketan has managed to secure a knock for himself. But can he get a confirmation, though?
Well, I guess time will tell. We are going to be making sure that we stay glued to the kill feed that is coming up on our screens as we have a look at 4King's ferocity. Trying to be a bit ferocious, trying to get closer to the enemy. Now, you got to keep one thing in mind. They are going to be pushing up on Paradise Resort, but there is a team towards the northwest of said resort. It is going to be Team Snacks, who have that guest house under control, and looks like shots are being fired as Team Cronton are going to come into play as well.
I mean, well, with the way things are panning out, you know, we're looking at a circle sort of headed towards Paradise Resort. Now, Team IND have gotten themselves a very, very good position. They've secured a compound. They're just looking out for enemies in the far off race. But Team Godlike, for a certain amount of time, they had a very good spot. They had a high ground. They had got good cover. But now this is where things start to get really interesting with them. They need to get inside a better position. But right now, Cronton, any single moment might just get spotted down and be finished off, but eventually it's Cronton the one who's going to respond with a knock from his own side. But Paul in the meanwhile just kind of proning down, and Cronton still surviving by the sliver of an HP.
I mean, how is that man still alive? I thought he was taken down, but oh my god, he almost gets that second knock as well. As now it looks like these boys are going to be in trouble. Bandookbaz is going to have a lot of work cut out for himself as Toxic Singh is going to be brought back to life. He has got the revive in, but now Paul is going to be left bleeding on his knees just a short distance from them. But it looks like Cronton's little retaliation over there put them out for a little bit of a 6 as Clutch God is going to make sure he patches himself up. Because again, you got to keep one thing in mind. They are at the edge of the circle and they really don't have a lot of options over here. In fact, literally Jonathan between a hard place and a rock right now, and the blue zone at one end. He's got to make quick work of Doc before he can move in. But I do believe Team Bandookbaz could play spoil spurt for them as well. I think that is something that he did realize, and he makes sure he goes the other way, which is the right call for right now. As Prince with that ratata is trying to get a few knocks, and 8-bit K-Team is going to go down.
He certainly will, and this time again falling to the hands of Team Nixid. The way these lads are making a push, this time they want to get all of them together. Last time they managed to get, I believe, 1 or at max 2, but Jonathan's still putting up a fight. I mean, he needs to make it inside the circle, and he is gonna do that whatsoever may come his way. But in the meanwhile, you've got a bit of a skirmish getting along here as well. Now, ClutchCon having been taken down by Dark, he is gonna be put away from his misery as the finish has been secured. Now it again comes down to this lonesome player again. Jonathan, can he do something? Can he pull something off? No, not this time.
That was a little difficult because he was spotted out, and I did kind of mention that, Doc was in a wonderful position to snuff his life out, which he did for his teammates, as Godlike's Raid now has his sights set on Bandookbaz. He knows there's someone behind that particular rock over there, and they are going to be keeping an eye on the kill feed just to make sure, they don't waste enough time. But it looks like it is going to be a fight in the Paradise Resort. Well, where the grass is green and the girls are pretty, but over here right now, it is going to be a bloodbath.